Look at that!
Hey, look, it's us.
Welcome to Crippled System.
I assume it's us. I see a pig's ass.
Should I see chat though?
No. We should probably have chat up. I didn't actually put chat up this time, so
We're gonna do this live.
yeah, we're live. You can see. They can't see us, or we can't see them. Oh, I've been logged out of. Yeah, we're live.
The reverb forever.
I clicked on mute. All right, I got to make sure a couple things. You guys vamp for a minute.
You want to vamp?
Yeah, vamp.
What?
Who's the
Yep.
vampire? And who's the human?
Episode 232.
Wait, now we're role playing?
Weren't we always?
No, I meant like sexy role playing.
Weren't we always?
Oh.
Good counterpoint. I don't remember any of the. Let's see if I can remember any of the White Wolf vampire clans.
Tremere.
Tremere, yeah,
Is
sure.
the-
No, that's
blood.
that's vampires though. And werewolves didn't have clans.
That's why we said vampires.
Oh yeah, you said vampires.
Because Tremere, Zimsi,
Yeah.
Malkavian.
Bruja,
Malkavian, those are the Joker ones. The
crazy ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I
Everybody wanted to play Malkavian.
when I tried playing that stupid game. That was Malkavian.
Mine was Tremere, obviously.
Yeah.
The magic people. Yeah.
Yeah, the Vulcan vampires.
yeah,
Yes. The
Double
ones that-
V's. That's what we called them. Called them double V's.
Vulcan vampires.
Yeah.
Was it just Nosferatu were the ugly ones, or did they have
Yes.
some other? Yeah, 'cause-
Nosferatu were the ugly ones.
yeah, I played one of those.
Because it was Bruja, Nosferatu, Zimsi.
Bruja.
Zimsi was on the Sabbat.
I remember there's the Camarilla and the Sabbat were the two main,
Yes.
like good and evil.
And
not
then
really. But
who are
yeah.
the Diableris? There's the ones that like to just their whole goal is to eat everyone else. I forget who they were.
in a sexy way?
No, they literally were to gain power. They just went around and killing other vampires and sucking them dry.
Yeah, well, there was a mechanic of that in the game, and so I remember that we just like our GM would be like, "Oh, look, you're like 8th generation, and here's
Yep.
like this scary like 5th generation big bad," and then we would just drain the fuck out of that guy, and now we're all 7th generation. Like we would just power up.
Yep.
It was great.
Yeah, I couldn't, for some odd reason, I talked about other people with this. I think I talked about Travis with this. I can't handle modern day role playing games.
Well, there's we played. I understand that we played the Dark Ages one, Vampire.
I could easily get into
Yeah, there
that.
was a Dark Ages one.
Ages would be
Just
fun.
nowadays, I watch way too much Forensic Files and other
Yeah.
shows like that.
Even NCIS breaks it,
Yeah.
or CSI.
Yeah, vampires would have a very hard time existing in our modern technology world.
Would they?
Like the
I mean, as long as you live the nightlife and you're basically just a serial killer, right?
Yeah.
You just have to be smart about it.
Well,
You just have to
thing
eat
is,
the-
I watch a lot of Forensic Files.
Sure.
People who are smart, they F up once in a while.
Fair.
the thing I enjoy if you try to do a modern one is if you know the area. So like if it was an area everyone was familiar with, then it's really easy to have a modern campaign that's very familiar.
I know it's still cops and everything, just
Sure.
procedures, all modern day procedures just
Sure.
fucks with my immersion.
But set it back in the 90s then when we weren't so good at that.
Or have an RPG where you do nothing illegal.
Well, then it's no fun.
Well, that's your problem.
Hey, we can all be paladins.
No, I just meant like you're all like accountants at a bank. And
Ugh,
The
that's-
blood bank?
That sounds like that's RPG real life, and that's no fun. It's like what the monsters play when they
Yeah.
they play RPGs. Like I'm going to be an accountant. I'm going to be a gas station attendant.
Oh my goodness. Did you guys watch the last season of X-Files?
I don't watch TV.
The last season probably is. It has my
Not the current, or like if one just ended, like one from like a year ago is the one I'm talking
correct.
about. Yeah.
Correct. I think I know exactly what episode you're talking about
Because it's topical.
It's probably one of my favorite episodes ever of the X Files, and I don't remember many others except for this one.
It's one of the best episodes of anything ever. Where there's this like a werewolf kind of thing, except he turns into a lizard. Like so it's just like almost think like Slee Stacks, like from Land of the Lost, just like the lizard type people.
Sure.
Okay, he doesn't turn into like a newt, like he's still humanoid and big, like
okay. So he's a
like
big
Killer
lizard.
Croc or whatever.
Sure.
So it's a person turns into that, except like partway through the episode where they finally corner and talk to him, it's actually the other way around. He is like a 10,000-year-old like dinosaur era lizard man
That can turn into a human.
who got bit by a person, and now, like, during the full moon, he
Turns into a
unwillingly
person.
turns into a human, and because of that, like, his instincts, like, just like somebody turning into a wolf would act like a
Yeah.
wolf, like, he has this uncontrollable desire to get a pet and a 401k and a part-time job, and he gets a little, like, you know, apartment bill, like, and he doesn't know why. He's like, I don't know what any of this is, but I just need to have a 401k.
So,
It is
Amazing.
It easily is the best episode of pretty much anything.
Yeah.
So there is something I think I saw it on Facebook of a spoof on the zombie apocalypse, where a person's cornered by the zombies, and in desperation, instead of being bit by the zombies, they bite the zombie first,
Sure.
and then the zombie, poof, turns back into a human at that point. The same sort of thing.
There's a movie or series, something that just came out where the whole premise is they find a cure for zombies, and so there's all these people who are ex-zombies, and they're called like the Cured or the Reborn or something like that, but they remember everything they did when they were zombies, so they have to live with the fact that they ate women and children and nuns.
You're not
and
talking
shit.
about that. There's a romantic comedy about that.
No, not Warm Hearts.
Yes,
This is
that's the
something
one.
newer.
I love.
Oh, I
Warm
think
Warm
this
Hearts
has-
was really good. I enjoyed Warm Hearts a lot.
Such
It was really subtle that his name was something to start with an R, and then her name was
hers
Julie.
too, yeah.
What?
Romeo and Juliet. Hey,
I think Ellen Page is in it. The thing I'm thinking of. I'm going to Google Ellen Page. And we never did introductions. So someone's asking if that's Travis.
It's not Travis.
Hi, I'm Ubu Mishik.
No, Jesus.
Mishak.
Do not want.
Mishak.
No.
Yeah, Aggie's yelling at me for doing
I'm
it wrong.
I'm Andy. I'm from Crippled System, and this is our last episode ever. Ever today.
Also, I'm on fire currently.
Why are you on fire?
I'm not really.
Aw.
April Fools.
Oh,
I tricked
is
you.
that what they
I
is?
tricked you.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I haven't been online because I worked all day today. But is the internet covered with wacky jokes with like Jesus saying "April Fools, I wasn't really dead, guys" or anything
No.
like that?
No, not
I
so
just
much.
thought the Easter April Fools overlap would.
Google Maps had Where's Waldo,
Hmm.
and then we had the Feaster from Private to Press. That was a lot of fun.
But Captain Salt got released.
Veteran Captain. So.
Veteran Captain Salt.
The Cured. That's what it's called. It's an Irish horror film that doesn't need to have Ellen Page in it.
It does or does not.
It does.
Well done.
That's how I found it. The Cured. It was bugging me.
Hi, I'm Travis, also known as Upu Mishak. I can't say Polish.
Why can't you say your own? This is your own character, correct?
Yeah, I can't say Upu Mishak. It's really hard to say.
But you
If
just said
say
it.
If you
It's
say it
spelled
correctly,
different. It's spelled different.
if you say it correctly, do you just go into a different dimension? Do you go back to your homeworld if you're forced to say your own
Sure.
character's words?
Say it backwards.
Say it backwards.
I cannot.
How the fuck
I say
do
Upu.
people even
Upu is
remotely
Upu.
get him? Other than like, why? How does he
Ever fall for that?
Oh my god!
I
Talking
do
about
not.
Rumpelstiltskin or
No.
Superman's villain?
Mishat Pitalik. Yeah, the Superman.
Superman.
Yeah,
Mitzelplick.
Mitzelplick, Mishat Pitalik. Like they throughout. Yeah. Now it's Mitzelplick, I believe, in the like the current thing. But
Sure.
when it was in comics, there were 1,000 different pronunciations because, good lord, how do you pronounce that mess of
Sure,
letters?
absolutely.
But yeah. But I don't think you could, short of just handing me a check for $1 bajillion,
Say it.
get me to say Nathan Hoffman backwards. I don't think I could if I tried. Like, much less trick me into accidentally doing it.
Like it's so foreign of a word. Like how would
Yeah.
you say it?
Namhoff.
No, it's not even
Namhoff?
No, that you've just reversed the last part
Because you
and-
had
Yeah.
Hoff.
It's
That's age
faux.
old.
No,
faux.
Fom.
It's
Yeah.
faux or fa.
Namfam.
Faux.
Namfam.
It's not Hoffman. Where are you going to be?
You're still messing it up.
Oh,
See? See, I know Nathan is basically a palindrome if TH was a single letter. Ooh, a ferret.
No, it's an otter.
It's a ferret.
It's an otter.
It's an otter.
It's an otter. That's veteran Captain Salt, who's a pirate captain. Look at him. He's
an
got,
otter.
he's got a little hook for an
So
arm.
is Salt a male or a female?
Salt is female.
How do you know?
Because they've actually said specifically that Salt is female.
How dare they decide that for her?
You don't like gender assignment?
I do not. Also, otters are creepy monsters.
Otters are adorable.
Unless you're a baby
Iggy.
seal.
I know.
Aggie, you spelled Hoffman wrong.
She did spell Hoffman wrong, and that's hurtful.
Yeah. Should be 2 N's. Natan.
If I just can you edit it so I disappear there?
Yeah, that would be.
No, she just threw a random F in there.
No, she threw an. She did throw it.
She just threw a random F in there. She did not.
And a random N.
Okay, now she just. I think she's literally having a stroke, and it's just a coincidence.
Somebody who knows Aggie. Call for help.
She has Canadian health care. She'll be fine.
Oh, okay.
Announcements.
Do we have announcements? Is there announcements?
There's an event. There's the Super Series in Waukesha.
Yeah,
Franklin. I forget which day it was though. I'm looking that up right now.
Okay, you look that up while I'll do. I was tempted to save this as a reminder when we got to the recommendations, but I'll do it now as an announcement. This Tuesday is season 2 of Legion, motherfuckers, on FX.
Yep. Guess what? You get to miss.
Season 2 of Legion.
Yep.
Is it gonna be on Hulu this year? It was last year.
Oh no. I was saying. Oh no, it's next Tuesday. So you get to miss episode 2 then.
Doesn't he have DVR?
So you have to go weird hell.
I don't have to.
You're gonna go.
Plus, it'll be on Hulu on Wednesday. Like, I'll just watch it a day late all the time. Luckily, despite me browbeating people constantly, nobody, like, at my work or anywhere watches it because they're all stupid and wrong, so they won't spoil it for me.
I think you overhyped Aubrey's character
She's so
too
good.
much. She was fine in that, but
The further the series goes, the more, like, the last couple episodes, she's astounding. Like, that silent film sequence.
I really liked Jermaine Clement's
Sure.
character a
Yeah.
lot. I thought he was probably my favorite character so far in the series. But I actually did finally watch it. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, you mentioned it. It's good. Did you? Yeah. The their social media team is going crazy these last couple weeks, and their Facebook posts are all like fucked up because of course they would be.
Correct.
All right. So the Super Series that we're running at Game Universe is April 28th. I need to get closer to the mic, probably
You
because you
do.
can't hear me. But April 28th, we're running it at Game Universe in Franklin. However, we're probably going to have a different location due to it being International Tabletop Board Game Day.
Yeah.
And so we're probably going to be at the Elks Lodge if I can figure out how much it's going to cost for us to run it there.
True Travis fashion, never checks to see if anything else is scheduled
Hey.
on the day he sets an event.
No, we checked. They didn't check with us.
No, I was.
Are you talking about
reference to something else?
to the
No,
OTC?
you don't need to mention about it.
Yeah, it's OTC. That was, 2 years ago?
No, it was actually last year.
Yeah, it's 2 events ago. 2 events ago.
I'm just giving crap. Don't worry about me.
I can't decide between Bare Necessities and Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata.
Yeah.
It's a Hakuna Matata.
Bare Necessities is good, though, but yeah. We should mention that Jay, in my humble opinion, is slowly turning into the George Takei of
Not for the obvious
War
reason.
Machine world.
Because it's all just clickbait.
He is definitely. Pretty soon, somebody's going to be working and posting things for Jay now.
How do you
Like
know they
George
aren't
Takei.
always?
Oh, that's possible. True too.
I'm gonna after the podcast, I'm gonna refresh listen to these 2 songs and make my decision, so it's not clouded by either nostalgia or anti-nostalgia.
I've just been randomly picking because I don't know any of the songs.
What?
So listen to them.
Yeah, listen
Like
to them. Give
I've
them a
never
shot.
seen Frozen, and I had never heard all of Let It Go before.
Let
but
It Go is amazing.
before I voted, I listened to Part of Your World and Let It Go fresh, and I decided that they're very different songs. Part of Your World is like a song about desire. It's a melancholy ballad, whereas Let It Go is a triumphant, and I decided that I felt Elsa's freedom more than I felt Ariel's desire, and to me that meant that Let It Go was a stronger emotional song, and so I voted for it.
I've just been voting counter to what popular opinion is. Namely, counter to Keith.
Well, I've been voting, but my votes have not been the top ones.
I
did
don't have strong
say-
opinions about most of them, other than putting Hakuna Matata and the Bare Necessities against each other in the first round is terrible seeding.
It's
There's
thematic.
a ton of seating that's bad.
There is there's some Also, there was like an 80s movie bracket somebody made that made no goddamn sense because it
Oh,
had
yeah.
shit from the 90s in it. It's like,
Yeah.
Remember, the 80s are the 80s, not the 90s.
yeah, but I mean, I was born in the 80s and I liked Jurassic Park, so no.
Jurassic
Yeah.
Park was 93. Was
Three.
it 3?
Three.
I mean, but it's in the
Lost World was probably 95 then.
it's in the 80s movie
Yeah.
bracket. It's
It
fucking-
shouldn't be.
Oh, God. Lost World's so bad.
The book or the movie?
Both. The movie
Incoming, Nathan Rand. Go.
Well, the movie has Pete Postlewaite, and Pete Postlewaite is one of the greatest greatest actors ever to have lived. He
I'm making
unfortunately passed
sure
away.
he's the one that shot the T-Rex.
Yeah, he's the hunter.
right.
He's the priest in the Baz Luhrmann Romeo and Juliet. He's
I know who you're talking about.
the lawyer. I know, but he's Kobayashi in
Yeah.
The Usual Suspects.
He's really good in that
Pete
one.
Postlewaite is really good in everything. He was a very underappreciated. Like, directors knew to get Pete Postlewaite,
Yeah.
but filmgoers never gave a shit about Pete
No,
Postlewaite.
he does an amazing job.
But so Pete Postlewaite's amazing. You got Jeff Goldblum being Jeff Goldblum.
Sure.
But the film's just bad.
No, I'll agree that the film is bad, but I'm trying to figure out why the book is bad.
I've 100% of the pages I've read of The Lost World, every single page I've ever read of The Lost World made me hurl the book across a room and then ignore it for 7 years until I left it behind when I moved.
How many pages did you read?
Just the first one. But it made me hurl the book across the room and then leave it there hidden behind my bed until I moved, like half a decade later.
Maybe it's also just that I'm a scientist, but how many times do we have to have a story that the cautionary tales is going too far in science?
That's basically Crichton's.
Well, how about
You're a
whole
scientist. I know you're not a medical doctor, but you're a smart person. I'm just curious.
Oh, by the way, David showed up for the podcast.
Hi, David.
Hi, I'm David. I play Kador.
So here's the thing. Oh, and Nathan, my Haraquax list is going really well.
My name is Andy, and I play Legion, and I don't know, maybe Rhett, maybe some Kador.
I never get tired of people mousing over a Haraquax after I play him. It's amazing. But so let's say you have a patient who gets a compound fracture of their leg in just a violent trauma. Then shock sets in, they die. Then their corpse is left on a planet that is carpet bombed.
Island.
An island, not a planet, I'm sorry. Their corpse is left on it. So they get a compound fracture and a violent trauma, shock sets in, they die, their corpse is left on a planet, on an island that is carpet bombed.
Okay.
Mild limp? Mild fucking limp, Travis?
I think
just
you're-
because
hold
the
on, hold on, hold on,
filmmakers
hold on,
demanded
hold on.
that they bring him back for a sequel because they wanted
No.
Jeff Goldblum in the film. Yes.
Did you read the end of Jurassic World? Jurassic Park, sorry. Did you
Yes.
read?
When they leave him.
He didn't get left. He got brought to the Costa Rican hospital.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
No.
I'm almost positive he got
When
brought
they
back
are
to
on the
hospital.
helicopter leaving, Grant asks, "What about Malcolm?" And somebody just sadly, like, that's it. They're like, "Nope, he didn't make it."
That's not him not making is because he died on the plane. Not that his body got left behind on the
Okay.
island.
Even if he wasn't left on the island, which I would have to double check, but I'm 99% sure that they left him behind
Sure.
because of how quickly they have to leave. So that is still a corpse.
Sure.
and
I'm
a
not gonna
corpse
disagree
doesn't
with
have
you
a
on that.
mild fucking limp.
I'm not going to disagree with you
And
on
I got
that.
halfway through that page, it's like, oh, mild limp. And I said, fuck you, Crichton. And I just hurled that book against a wall.
You should get past that and read the
No.
book.
He should not have that character in his book. They should, like... So he doesn't die in the movie, so they want him in the sequel, so they force Crichton. Just have the book be different. Have Grant be the star of the book and just stick with Malcolm.
Because Grant's not as cool as Malcolm.
How dare you, sir?
How dare I? Sam Neill's one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
Grant is not as cool as Malcolm.
He likes dinosaurs.
So?
Malcolm just likes flirting with Statler.
Don't you?
Yeah, she's okay. She was pretty dumb in Star Wars, though. Tell people your plan, woman.
But then she had one of the greatest heroic sacrifices ever.
Yeah, which she wouldn't have needed to do if she'd done 50,000 other things different.
Probably.
Or one of 50,000 other things
Probably.
different.
Yeah,
I will maintain that the strongest plot armor in the entire Star Wars series is Poe Dameron's career in The Last Jedi.
Oh my God, he is honestly the worst of the new movies. I actually don't like Poe at all.
I like the character okay, but it was just how it's like he should have been in the brig the entirety of that film.
Pretty much.
I like him as a romantic interest for Finn,
Yeah,
but that's...
But I mean, yeah, he
That
should
ship got
have. When he goes up to the commander, when he goes up to the commander, he's basically saying like, "This should happen. This should happen." It's like, you're a fucking pilot.
And then he leads a mutiny.
like, what the fuck? He was just mostly dead.
Oh, sure. Well, yeah, that's what Lost World claims. It ain't what Jurassic Park claims.
But
yeah, so he was officially dead at the end of Jurassic Park. That's
Yeah.
basically what they were
Sure.
saying, and then he was written,
Whatever.
I would
written to
much-
be mostly dead.
I'd much rather have Jurassic Park book ending be true, where the Gennaro, whatever the hell the lawyer's name was Gennaro was actually a badass and didn't die.
Well, no, not Gennaro. Well, because there were two lawyers in the book. One that gets eaten by the smaller T-Rex, and the other one lives.
That,
Yeah.
was in the lawyer that was like the park host type dude, PR type dude.
PR, sure, yeah, PR.
Regis or Regis or whatever.
Yeah, he gets eaten by the second T-Rex,
Yeah,
the
the little
smaller
baby
one,
one.
the baby one, still 7 feet tall.
Yes.
But yeah, he gets eaten by that one, and Gennaro lives. And more important badass who lives is the fucking Muldoon.
Yes, Muldoon.
Muldoon, who uses a goddamn rocket launcher in the book to
Kills
just
a
blast
velociraptor.
raptors into vapor. It's like, fuck yeah, Muldoon.
Takes off legs as well.
I wonder if that's something that they could do, where they could remake Jurassic Park,
If they follow the book more, that'd
going
be
straight
awesome.
from the book.
Good news.
Oh,
In
they
the
had actual
official
realistic
comic book
raptors?
follow-ups to the Jurassic Park movie, Muldoon is still alive.
Because, raptors, velociraptors, as we understand them now, are basically very angry chickens.
Yes, but it's amazing that Jurassic Park evolved our understanding of dinosaurs, because it was
Yeah.
cutting edge at the time
Yeah, they funded paleontology for the
a
movie.
a lot of years.
It does,
afterwards.
I was a big fan of Deinonychus as a kid, so having Deinonychus in a film and just calling them something else was...
Deinonychus?
No, it's
Infuriating.
Deinonychus.
Deinonychus?
Yeah, that's the official pronunciation now, which annoys me because I always pronounced it differently.
Yes.
And then I saw an episode of Dinosaur Train with my daughter, and they kept saying it Deinonychus, and I'm like, the fuck? But apparently that's what they're called now.
Okay.
It's like Neanderthal. No, Neanderthal. It's not a
Neanderthal.
TH anymore. You pronounce the T and the H, so it's Neanderthal.
Yeah.
Whatever. The point is, Muldoon lives.
Okay.
Who's so Muldoon is
The clever girl guy?
Oh, that's him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
See what happened now?
just
Jurassic World goes the same way, but see,
We really need angry chickens, though.
so
Yes.
the
Oh, yeah.
Raptors, since he worked with them so much, they was just playing. She jumps on him and she's like, I got you, we're bestie buddies. But the cameraman cuts away beforehand,
Oh,
so
okay.
you don't realize that they're just wrestling.
So
I do
him
like that
screaming
part.
in pain. And
They're wrestling.
there's parts of
Sure.
Jurassic.
That's the official follow, because they were like, shit, we need this character back. We never actually saw blood. Let's say they were wrestling.
Wait, what movie is he in?
He's in the follow-up comics. There were Jurassic Park graphic novels, and Muldoon's alive in them, and that's the official explanation. Is
So-
because the raptor was just playing with him.
So, I will say I watched the original Jurassic Park, and I was never interested enough in the series to watch any of the other movies or read the book.
Yeah.
But I'm really getting the impression that the entire way the Jurassic Park series works is by ignoring everything that happened in the first movie.
It's by ignoring everything that happened in every other movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Two and three get ignored. 2 and 3 got ignored.
Get ignored.
I like 3. The only thing I don't like
hate
about
this
3 is
part.
trapeze. That's the
hate
only
That's-
part of the film I don't
That's
like.
2.
No, the trapeze stuff is in 3.
Oh, you're right. It's uneven bars in 2.
Yeah.
Where Jeff Goldblum's adopted daughter does the
Yes.
kicky kick thing.
Yes, it's uneven
Correct.
bars and kick a raptor.
Yeah.
I dislike the Spinosaurus from 3 is awful.
They had to
no,
ramp
he's
up the
amazing.
villain, right? Like, you can't just do T-Rex again, so they ramp it. I mean, it is what it is. It's better than Indominus Rex.
Yes,
Indominus Rex actually makes more sense, though.
Travis,
No.
can you imagine?
Spinosaurus is accurate.
I understand Spinosaurus is
So why does
accurate.
that not make sense?
Indominus is better as a villain because it is literally
But
chaos incarnate in a
As
form.
opposed to just being a bigger dinosaur?
Yes.
See, my objection with Jurassic World is because things aren't just dinosaur. I like dinosaur movies. I
Sure.
like dinosaurs. Jurassic World was a monster movie
Can-
with a sci-fi supervillain.
Sure.
There were not dinosaurs.
with some dinosaurs in
Could-
there.
could you-
That's about it.
Could you then argue that you are never watching a dinosaur movie? You're watching a dinosaur-alike movie?
Sure.
Well, that's basically what they admitted in Jurassic World.
In
Is that
Jurassic
all,
Park,
it-
even they
well,
admit that.
Jurassic Park, they try to skirt it as
Jurassic
being
Park,
more
they say they're like
realistic.
99% dinosaur, whereas with the most recent ones, it is arguable that they're 0%
Correct.
dinosaur and they
Yeah.
just made shit from scratch.
Absolutely.
Because
And that's,
people want to see a monster movie.
right.
Yeah.
And because scientifically the amber thing wouldn't actually work, and so that's just a cover story. Yeah, and sure. But there is awe in the first Jurassic
Sure,
Park. Like
absolutely.
you have them in the tree, and there's a love.
Yeah.
It is a love letter to dinosaurs.
Yeah, I agree with
Jurassic
that.
World is I'm a monster, grawr, and I just like that less.
Would you?
Sure.
So with all the callbacks from Jurassic World,
Also, 3
would
had the
you
phone
have?
poop.
Would you have? I thought that this should have been in the film. I mentioned this before on the podcast. I don't think Travis listened to it, but I think there should have been a sequence where they were hiding from whatever dinosaurs in Jurassic World, and someone's cell phone goes off, and it's that fucking ringtone from the Spinosaurus.
That was one of the greatest running gags, which is the Spinosaurus' stomach ringing because he ate the guy. I mean, when they're just like out of the field and they just hear the ringtone.
And they're like, oh shit.
Where's the, well, the first time, because they don't know where it came from. They're just like,
quotient.
where's the, why, where do we see
And
it?
just magically appears. Like, that's my issue with the Spinosaurus.
Sure.
It's a ninja.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a goddamn ninja.
And the
Have you ever
Raptors
played
are smart
fucking
enough
WoW?
to fly planes by Jurassic Park 3. Like, they literally talk to the Raptors.
Have you ever
That's
played?
true, they did.
Have you ever played WoW?
Yes.
Have you ever done Ungoro Crater?
Yes.
Those things are ninjas. You don't see those fucking dinosaurs until like they render right next to you, and you're like, roar, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm dead.
Oh, that's what it was. It's the Spinosaurus just zoned in.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
LFG.
Oh my god, this is my favorite thing to do or to quest in Ungoro Crater is to have the big dinosaurs would just chase you.
That does bother me about the Raptors in 3. That they avoided how the Raptors are supposed to be in Lost World. If you had ever read Lost World, you know this. They're supposed to be super, like, juvenile kids.
Yeah.
Lord of the Flies kind of children at that point, where they
Like
don't...
a pack mentality, kind of.
Not even good. They're just always, like, vicious at each other, and it's complete anger the entire time.
There isn't an alpha. There isn't like a leader, so they're all just like scattered as far as, you know.
Like, they sort of
They
work
squabble.
together.
Yeah.
but
It's like Skeksis almost, like where they kind of work together,
Yeah.
but like they'll definitely try to undermine each other constantly.
Absolutely.
There's going to be some people who don't know what the fuck who you just mentioned.
Skeksis.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm
I know
assuming
exactly who
I
they are.
understand what the reference is, but I don't know what the fuck you mean.
Dark Crystal?
What?
Oh,
That's what I was saying. Is I knew that Travis was comprehended what you're trying to say, but
Travis,
he did
you have
not
homework.
understand.
By the
I
way,
don't
Team
watch movies.
Skeksil over Skekong every
I don't
time.
watch movies.
Skeksil's
I
the
don't
Chamberlain, the
remember.
whimpery
Okay,
one.
yeah.
Skekong's the Gartham Master. Who was fucking that Trial of Stone was rigged. Invalid Trial of Stone. I'm sorry, Travis. Go on with your Raptor story. I just get very passionate about
that's in the theaters
Skeksil.
coming
was
soon,
it.
isn't it?
I know.
Isn't it in the
So
theaters soon?
it's
Or no,
in the
it's Labyrinth is coming in
Both
the
of
theaters
them.
soon. Oh,
Dark Crystal's coming to the theaters because the sequel television series is coming out this year.
where
Henson, I think it's going to Netflix. But yeah, it's done by Henson. Yeah. But I'm sorry. Raptors, yeah.
No, that was it.
Just that they're wrong in that movie.
In 3, they're very wrong. They tried to do what
In the book,
David's
when you talk
asking
to them
for.
if you
They're
have a
trying-
train whistle?
No.
I mean, realistically, as the current state of paleontology, everything we know about velociraptors is they were basically they look a lot like chickens. They're feathered. Well, I mean, roadrunner.
Yeah.
Physiologically, they're probably most similar to roadrunners. They're about that same size, are feathered, and basically their ecological niche is the same as a modern cat.
Sure, but again, in fairness, what do we know paleontologically speaking about Deinonychus? Because that's what you should be talking about. It's
Yeah.
just a misnomer in the movies.
Yeah.
Sure.
And so,
But even still, like,
you
all
can
of
wash aside. I mean,
And
still,
I will say
feathered and everything,
Velociraptor is a much cooler name.
but- Yes.
Yeah. It's easier to say.
Yeah.
Which is probably the reason why it got
Yeah.
picked versus Deinonychus.
Yeah. And I understand that, and I completely, it doesn't, whatever, I totally get it, no worries there. But the point is, you can't say, well, actually, raptor is the size of chickens. That's not the point. The point is what size were Deinonychus, and how did Deinonychus, what was their niche in, did they pack hunt? Did they take down Gallimimus? Did they do those things?
Excuse me.
Jesus.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting because, like, the soft tissue not existing through fossil records because they really can't unless they get very lucky.
Yeah.
At that point, and so it's like we don't know until after.
Ankylosaur that got discovered. Didn't actually have soft
yeah, the thing
tissue,
just a little
but it
bit
was
ago.
preserved enough where they could see what the soft tissue.
Yeah, they got
would have
the
been.
impression
Yeah.
of the soft tissue, and that's how they. I mean, the current. My understanding is the current. It is currently known that juvenile Tyrannosauri had feathers. It is unknown if adult Tyrannosauri did, which is just amazing because I've seen. I mean, I want them to be feathered because I want to imagine
A giant bird like
Yeah,
that.
a giant bird. I mean, not just that, but one of the other explanations, because clearly clearly a Tyrannosaurus could not fly.
Yeah.
But the purpose of it was for temperature regulation, because dinosaurs were not as good about temperature regulation as modern birds are. But of course, one of the main things birds do with their feathers is fluff them out to provide more
to get more
insulation.
heat, yeah.
Indeed.
So I mean, you have to imagine the savannah in that era, where there would just be giant puffballs of death. just waiting, just sitting there, and just imagine like out in the middle of woods, there's this huddled down T-Rex with its feathers all puffed out, so it's just furry and spherical, and it's just waiting for you.
So I love that. Two things. Number one, just a side thing. This is my favorite fossil in history. Is the Protoceratops Velociraptor battle,
Yeah.
where they both died because like mid battle a mudslide crushed them.
Oh,
And
sure.
so that is how they were found, is mid-battle. That one's super cool. But as far as like soft tissue and everything like that, there's an interesting photo. I mean, they're not photos, but they're photorealistic drawings, whatever, CGI, of modern animals. Because the issue is, you take this skeleton of a raptor and you just stretch skin drum tight across it and say, there it is, and that's what we have.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shit don't look like that.
You put some muscles on top of it, and you might get something similar.
But everything they do is like they don't have dewlaps.
Yeah.
They don't have just extra fat. Like a manatee skeleton doesn't look like a manatee. You know what I mean? There's extra fat there.
Even a
And
whale skeleton doesn't look like a
sure,
whale.
right? If
Yeah.
you did a whale drum tight, and so that's what it is. There's a gallery that is like
Oh,
they
yeah,
have
like
li- they have like
the baboon was
the baboon
the stuff of
is nightmare
horrors.
fuel, because they
Yeah.
take modern animals
And
and just create their skin and fights as tight as they did for dinosaurs, and it's like that ain't what shit looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for all we know, raptors had, or like T-Rexes had big old dewlaps, and they had combs like a turkey. You don't fucking know.
Because you can't tell. Yeah.
They could, yeah.
That's the thing that was most disappointing to me. Like, my family went, we all went out to, like, the kids' dinosaur things, and it's like, knowing now that the paleontology is completely wrong on all of
Yeah.
them, it's just disappointing to go in there and go, all right, great, these are Jurassic Park dinosaurs, not what real dinosaurs look like in our current understanding, but they're continuing to do the Jurassic Park dinosaurs because they have to.
Yeah, I took Lars. I took
Yeah,
Lars
it's the
to.
baboon.
I took Lars to one of those things when they had it around here, and I was so pissed off that I was going down all the exhibits. Like, no, this is wrong. This
Yeah.
is wrong. This is nobody's believed that for 20 years. This is wrong. This is wrong.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's annoying.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, yeah, Nathan's showing pictures of what
Name that animal.
That looks like
Is
a
that
dog of some
Is that a
sort.
horse?
It's a zebra.
Oh,
That's
Yeah.
a zebra.
Anyways.
That's a fucking cow. Because again, like
Yeah.
Yeah, skeletons don't
if you just
represent-
follow the rib cage back to the
Oh, even us. You don't have
Yeah.
your stomach
Yeah.
area at all. It wouldn't exist.
I mean, to be fair, though, I mean that style of recreation is probably fairly accurate for flighted dinosaurs,
Yeah.
but for ground
No.
predators, no.
It's funny that you meant the fight because there's a swan.
Yeah.
Like if you ignore the concept of feathers and just make
Yeah,
those
but
front
that's, I mean,
appendages.
Pretty
yeah, but I mean
close,
that's
yeah.
basically what a swan, what a plucked swan looks like.
Sure.
Yeah, it's just missing some of the other musculature that exists.
Yeah. I mean, plucked birds can often look terrifying, especially like owls and parrots and stuff.
And
A skinny elephant without a trunk looks really weird.
and we don't need to create a time machine to go back, because I've seen a Sound of Thunder, and that's horrible things that happen. You ever seen Sound of Thunder? It's a bad film. It's about guys in a time machine. They go back to Jurassic times to hunt dinosaurs.
Sure.
And they hunt them right before there was like a gigantic volcanic explosion that
Yeah.
happened.
They
So-
make it so they were going to die anyway,
Yep.
so they're not butterfly affecting.
Correct, correct. Except for somebody steps off the track and kills a butterfly. And they come back in the future, and the whole world is covered with apes and dinosaurs.
Yeah, don't fuck up.
Yeah. The movie is bad, but
Well, that's like
it's
there's
such
the,
a
the
great
Simpsons
premise, though.
Treehouse of Horror where it keeps happening to Homer over and over. So like the one time he goes back, he just smashes everything with a baseball bat 'cause he's sick of it.
The speaking of owls that you brought up, there was
What?
no, he brought up a topic. You jumped off to something else. I'm bringing it back. It's
Damn,
actually
my tangent.
it's really actually interesting to watch people that put up an owl house and put an infrared camera inside the owl house,
Yeah.
and then instead of watching the owls, watch humanity react to the owls. because humans get really attached to babies. Doesn't matter what species they are, they get super attached. So when the little tiniest one gets eaten by the bigger ones, people lose their goddamn minds.
We don't get that attached to baby houseflies.
But we get really attached to baby animals that are fluffy and furry and little cute, cuddly little things that are vicious.
I love barn owls.
Yeah, I love
They
owls.
they make the weirdest goddamn noises, but they are the most adorable, scary fucking nightmare
Tell you
fuel
about
things.
the story when a great horned owl tried to kill me.
Oh no!
You probably deserved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably did. No, so my first wife was really big into wildlife rehabilitation.
First wife was an owl.
No, but she was really big into wildlife rehabilitation, and so she worked with a rehabilitator that had been doing it forever and had all of the licenses. And so we went out to the other rehabilitator's place that was kind of like a farm out in the middle of nowhere because she had a ton of animals, and also that's where I grew to hate porcupines because she had a porcupine in a cage and had it marked off the radius that the porcupine could
shoot,
Yeah.
or just pee.
Piss, yes.
Wow, jeez.
Yes, that's how the porcupine let you know that it didn't want you around. It was pissing
Trying to pee on you.
and so it's like they had it marked out the radius to stay away. But so I mean, she had a lot of birds, including a particularly large great horned owl, which is just a majestic and beautiful animal. And she was going to have my ex-wife hold it, but my ex-wife didn't want to hold the great horned owl because of how vicious they are.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I'll do it. And so the rehabilitator comes over and she gives me this like welder's apron.
Yeah.
And gives me another welder's glove and said, "Put this over your throat because
It'll
it
try
will
to-
go for your
and
throat."
try to rip your throat out.
And so I've got heavy gloves on, a glove over my neck, and the apron on. And we go and we get the bird out of its cage, and I'm holding it. I'm holding it with my hands over its legs and its body up against my chest while it's getting its nails trimmed. And as soon as I do that, it turns its head 180 degrees around and goes directly for my jugular. I mean, like it was magnetic. Yeah. I mean, it was. I had the thing held against my chest, and it was just instantly trying to kill me. Wow. It was kind of unnerving, but it was, I mean, awesome too.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's cool.
Animals are vicious. It wasn't doing nothing, and you were all being rude to it.
Well, we had to. Since it was recovering from its beak being damaged, and it was kept in a cage, and since it didn't, its nails were in danger of getting ingrown, so somebody had to hold it down while its nails got filed down. It was just trying to kill me during the process.
Just like trying to pick up things and can't pick up anything.
Those are Skeksis.
Okay, so that's sure. I've probably seen that image before.
Those are basically Arokai from WoW.
They're also the bird people from D&D.
That's Skeksil, the Chamberlain, and that's Skek-Ung, the Gartham Master.
You know I don't know and will not remember this, right?
Okay. Skeksil's one of my personal heroes.
Okay. I'm terrible with names. You know I'm not going to remember that.
The point is legit.
Yep.
Skeksil, the bomb yo.
I remember watching that show a lot when I was young.
I need to read the book. A lot of people don't realize the movie is actually based on a book.
So I have a War Machine adjacent question for
Well,
you.
you're supposed to talk about Adepticon in theory. Oh, yeah, Fizzgig.
Yeah.
That's Fizzgig.
Okay.
See, the
I should make that our new our new thing.
the villains in this movie are these things called Gelflings, who are these like
I'm
they ain't the Skeksis ain't hurting nobody. They're just living their life, okay?
You broke David.
Skeksil did nothing wrong. So anyway, Skeksis are friend to Gelflings. He even says so, and he would never lie. So these monster little fuck monsters are trying to kill these poor innocent Skeksis who've done nothing wrong to anybody ever. And one of them has a pet demon monster named Fizzgig. I mean, look at that fucking thing. There's no way that a hero has that as a sidekick.
The noise he
Okay,
makes
so
when
I would
he's
like to
really-
know the
he's really upset.
other
about-
view of history on this because obviously you know something that.
I'm gonna
So
say that.
the Gelflings are
Everything
the
I
main
said was-
characters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's one of those movies that follows the villains in their quest to
Yeah.
destroy the peaceful race that did nothing wrong.
So Critical Role did an episode of goblins going and fighting through a town with their like a one-off guest episode, and the end bosses were the first level party from Pathfinder. That their first adventure is to hunt down the Goblin Town and destroy the Goblin Town, and so there were the goblins fighting against the first level party, the villains versus the heroes.
Have you heard of the Persona RPGs? They're by Atlas.
I think so.
So they are part of a larger series, the Shin Megami Tenshin series, and Persona is just one offshoot, and there's like whatever. In one of the series, RPGs love to have their insanely impossible to beat optional boss, you know, that you go hunt down, like Ruby and Emerald Weapon, Final Fantasy VII, and so on. So one of those, I think it's in 5, but don't quote me, and it doesn't really matter. But one of those is the main character from the previous game.
That's awesome.
And when you fight the main character, the music that plays during that huge boss battle is the generic battle music from the previous game.
That's awesome.
Because to him, you're just a random encounter.
Yeah.
You're no different than any level 2 chump that he kills in 2 hits in the intro level.
That's
so
awesome.
it just plays it's really cool.
Especially when they do those kind of callbacks where it's not poking fun at the callback, but it's making like logical sense in their point of view.
Yeah, like it was a cool enough Easter egg just to fight the original, the previous guy, but to have it be the generic battle music was just a nice touch.
And like, there's part of that where, I see that, Andy.
What? Oh, he put Fizzgig down there?
Right on the bottom of the screen.
Little
But
monster. Look at all those teeth.
Sure.
Really, if you put it in front of me, it would actually match the way I talk far more accurately. Because you can see him, he's just saying, a mild limp, he was dead!
My D&D game that we're playing right now ends up having, we just invaded a temple, but we didn't talk to anyone.
Sure.
Against my character's attempt to talk to everyone. And it's kind of annoying where it's like, we're the invaders in this whole story. We're not the good guys. We're invading this temple and killing these people maliciously.
Are we the baddies?
I don't like talking about D&D characters, but we had a party that was basically filled with demi-humans. We had a half-ogre, we had a goblin and such, and we came across this town, and there was we thought
It was on the outskirts of town.
Outskirts of town, and some guys tried to stop us.
Yeah.
And we thought they were going to rob us, so we apprehended
them.
them and killed them and brought them into town to get the reward.
It was the guardsmen.
And it was the guards of the town.
Yep. Like, I can see where this story's going.
That was one of my absolute favorite D&D characters. Was one that during the campaign realized he was the villain.
Yeah.
We have a new mascot.
Jesus. You're gonna get us taken down for copyright infringement if all you do is broadcast Fizzgig.
We're playing 5th
perfectly
edition right
fine.
now, and my character is Upu Mashek. He talks like this. Hi, I'm Upu Mashek. I'm a gnome barbarian.
Why does he talk like that?
Because to annoy everyone else in my party.
Fair.
I'm thinking about this replacing the Buseys.
How dare you?
I'm okay with that.
Mashek. I'm saying it right. Meshek. Not Mashek, Meshek.
My chic. Love shack.
It's Polish.
Baby.
Horse shack.
Iggy knows how to say
Is
Polish.
your character
I don't.
horse shack?
No.
Say, ooh, Mr. Carter.
No, I basically...
I like a nice combination of Horseshack and Rorschach.
Sure. So he's just like killing people. He's wearing the mask. He's like, ooh, Mr. Carter, I killed a mugger.
At least 2 people on the podcast got that. Do you know who we're talking about?
No.
Horseshack, Rorschach, or neither?
I know
I'm familiar with
Rorschach.
Rorschach.
Yeah.
But not Horseshack?
No.
Remember Welcome Back, Kotter, the hit 70s television show that
I thought that was the voice you were doing, but I don't remember the names of any of the characters.
His name was Horseshack.
And yes, Aggie, polish is an easy word to say because that's what it is if you don't capitalize it.
We had Iggy and I were talking about weird Wisconsin towns. So like Waiwega, trying to have a foreigner say Waiwega, they're gonna be like, "What?"
Yeah, there are videos online of like non-Wisconsinites trying to say, Ashwaubenon and whatnot, and they're like, "Brr."
And that's basically where I was going. Is like, eventually you stop looking for the colonist towns and you start looking for the native towns, and you're like, That's a Native American town. That's a Native American word. That one is too. And no one else knows how to say them besides us.
And also, Aggie, I'm originally from Mississippi, and there's a town in Mississippi called Kosciuszko, and that's how the locals say it. Of course, it's named after the Revolutionary War hero Tadeusz Kosciuszko, but the Mississippians turns out can't pronounce Polish.
Of course they can't.
Bastards.
I mean, I also lived in Kentucky, where there is a Versailles.
Oh, what?
A Versailles. There's also a Versailles in Indiana as well, or maybe it was Ohio. But there are at least 2 Versailles in this country.
How do we get to clothing shopping?
Because we
Oshkosh. Oshkosh Bagosh.
Yeah.
No, Wisconsin City's Oshkosh.
But that's me trying to. No, Polish is what caused this.
Yeah.
My characters what caused this.
Fair.
Do we have any other subjects?
Adepticon was last week, which is
Yes.
probably why he was invited.
And of
No,
course,
I was just here because I was
I'm
here.
probably butchering Kosciuszko, but at least it's closer than how the town is pronounced.
My family's out in Vegas right now, so I'm chilling.
Fair.
But yes, Adepticon was last week.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with it.
I will never go to GenCon again because Adepticon is everything I enjoy at GenCon and 80% less bullshit.
Absolutely. The hotels still suck for both, but it's less suck
It is dramatically less.
Dramatically less.
So you could find a hotel for Adepticon.
Adepticon, it's a little harder, but it's not hard.
If you want to stay at the hotel where Adepticon is at, that is more of bullshit.
Yeah.
But you can find one nearby.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
it is not much of a travel
Correct.
as compared to Indianapolis, where you can't find a fucking hotel for 7 miles out of the goddamn event.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be charged up the ass if you decide to drive in or Uber in or whatever rideshare service you want to
and
use.
the cost, like just the cost and the time efforts to do stuff, it's a lot easier to do stuff at Adepticon than it is to at Gen Con.
Yeah. And going out for food is crazy at Gen Con.
And it was simultaneously, there was lots of stuff to do, lots of people, but it wasn't wall-to-wall people.
Correct. Like Gen Con can
Yeah.
be. Like I like, there's aspects of Gen Con that I really enjoy.
Can I interrupt
but
for a
it's-
moment here?
It's different.
I would just like to let Aggie know that Oshkosh Bagosh is an American children's apparel company founded in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Don't try to take our corporations away from us.
Yeah. He's a
It's not some weird coincidence where Canada has a company called Oshkosh Bagosh. That's ours, goddammit. That's cultural appropriation.
And Jim, who lives in Wisconsin, says that he always thought it was from
Yeah,
Oshkosh.
but it was from.
Yeah,
it
it
was
is
from
that.
Wisconsin.
It is from Oshkosh.
Yeah.
You don't bash her inappropriately.
What bullshit? She said, quote, Oshkosh Bagosh is the name of a kid's clothing store in Canada. No, it's the name. That is, no.
You are reading too much into that statement.
Bullshit.
Literally, it just says it's a name of a kid's clothing store in Canada, which is also true.
Yeah, okay. Bullshit. That is not what that sentence parses as. That sentence parses as it being uniquely originated in Canada.
I think you're reading into that.
Okay, so Disney is the name of a company in Europe?
Yes.
Bullshit. Just because Euro Disney existed doesn't mean Disney's a European company.
Does Euro Disney still exist?
Probably not. I like Aggie, but bullshit. I lost a suction cup guy somewhere.
So yeah,
On top of
Adepticon.
right here.
No, the black one was here.
Oh, you stole him from me.
He was there. You didn't even notice. It was like an hour ago.
I was sticking him to the side.
So Adepticon was really good. I'm very excited for next year because we're going to do some cool stuff. One of the things that we're trying to do is find out.
Don't mind me.
It was on your nipple for whatever reason. But we're trying to do some cool stuff with Adepticon, specifically some more of the hobby aspects, because we have a lot of the competitive environment stuff already. There's going to be some more focus on actual hobby aspects. So trying to get like armies on parade improved from a war machine standpoint, horde
to get them
standpoint.
included with that would be nice.
Yeah, we were included with that. There's a little mix up this year on setting that up, but we need to also improve. Like if you walk through the armies on parade, like there's a lot of display boards and there's a lot of neat creativity that the War Machine community isn't really known for at the moment, and we need to get that more
hard to
apparent.
But
travel
I've
with it,
seen
it's the big
amazing display boards in the War Machine community. They just aren't like a couple War Machine weekends ago. Somebody had the Cricks with like a pirate ship,
That was,
and they had that Kraken. That was
yes.
like it was amazing.
That was at Adepticon last year, and that was in the Army and Parade last year.
That's funny because it was sold at the War Machine weekend 2 or 3 years ago.
Sure.
Like somebody literally had out there with a for sale on it.
Yeah.
Somebody just bought it and put it in the Armies on Parade.
Yeah, no, it was one of the cool ones. I'm forgetting the gentleman who was from Texas that moved back out to Europe, but he has the white Signarans with the Storm Strider legs with a colossal head on it. I forget.
Oh, sure.
Julian, I think.
Yeah. I don't know.
His army from Texas was in Armies and Parade 2 years ago as well. And so there's a lot of neat armies, and it's a lot of great paint jobs, and so we're trying to promote that more in the next year. So we'll hopefully be seeing something from Privateer Press with that as well.
I like that Scorpion Prime Axiom that we had at the ATC.
John Carter's.
Yeah.
John Carter's army looks amazing.
Is he from Mars?
Yeah, he's of Mars.
Is of Mars. John Carter of Mars. Yes, correct.
He's originally from.
He hasn't heard that a gazillion
Barsoom?
times in his life.
I thought it was
Barsoom was the
Barsoom?
name for Mars.
thought
Was
it
the
was-
name for Mars.
It is
He was
Virginia.
From Earth and he went.
Yeah.
He was from Earth and went.
Yeah,
to
he was
Mars.
from Virginia, but is it Barsoom or is Barsoom Mars?
Barsoom's Mars.
What's Earth?
I don't know.
I thought it was Virginia or in the Carolinas.
Virginia is on. We've said it was Virginia 7 times.
Yeah.
Yes, it was Virginia because they call him Virginia.
I think he
because
was
when he
from
introduces
Virginia.
himself, he's from Mars.
Hey Nathan, you're letting yourself being trolled.
He's from Mars.
You're letting yourself
That's why
being trolled.
he's the princess of Mars.
But John hasn't heard that a gazillion times in his life, nor the first time I met him. I did the same thing to him.
John
And
Acker
that-
from Mars?
And then I understood his pain.
John Carter
after he
from
looked at
Akron.
me.
Akron?
Akron. He's
Yeah.
from Akron, Ohio.
So
Ack.
here's
Ron.
one thing that I wish actually happened at Adepticon, and I was very surprised it didn't happen again this year.
Orgy.
Yes.
No.
That's happened, and nobody wants part of that. No. Hungerford Games.
That is not a officially sponsored Privateer Press event.
That should have been. That
Okay.
was. I know that there wasn't that many people participating in
Sure.
it. There was like 6 people in it last year.
I understand.
But
But
I
the
thought
concept's neat.
The concept was really cool.
The
You
concept
have-
is very neat, and
If it was done this year, I would have done it.
it
Yeah.
wasn't the concept's fault of why it didn't make it.
Oh.
It just didn't make it because it's not an officially supported event.
should make it an officially supported event. If you're going for hobbies, that's one way to go.
I don't have say in that.
No. Well, you kind of do-ish.
Not
You
with
could
this one.
you could say something. You could be
I-
like, "Hey,
I fought that war already.
yeah." No. Well, I should fight it some more because that was the really cool concept from last
Sure.
year, and I know that there's a bunch of people that were disappointed that was not
Sure.
occurring again this year. And Dave said that he would have joined it. I would have said I would do it, but there's no way I did it.
No, I would have done it because I spend a lot of time airbrushing,
Yeah.
and that is like skill with a compressor attached to it.
Absolutely.
because it's really easy to get stuff that actually looks nice with having no talent whatsoever.
You looked at Max's army last
Yeah.
year when he painted. It was all yellow Kidorans, and it was amazing because
Yeah.
the yellow on the airbrush looks really good.
Yeah,
Yeah, if
I mean,
you
just
prime it well and you prop it.
I mean, that's
it'll pop.
if anybody complains about having to paint one color, you do it, or having certain colors like red, yellow, and white.
Yeah.
You do it with an airbrush, it looks fine. It's
Correct.
just period. It works.
You either have to spend time correctly with a brush, or use skill in an airbrush
Yeah.
and do it correctly with an airbrush.
Skill that has that has a PSI rating. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was also one of at Adepticon. They had the Badger people who are kind of weird, and I
Yeah.
don't think they have a coherent model for how much their products should cost because it seems to be completely random. So for a while, I had I owned 5 airbrushes.
Jeez.
Yeah, no. Well, Badger also they basically go there to pretty much get rid of their extra inventory as
Yeah.
well. So their goal is to leave Adepticon with nothing.
Yeah.
That's with a
So-
handful of cash and whatever they an empty
So
truck.
Sunday's a good day to go
Sunday
talk
is
to
a
him.
great day. Like
Yeah.
I got an entire kit for airbrush cleaner, a thinner for the paints, and something else for brush something else there for like $5.
Wow.
Normally that's probably about $20-$30
Yeah.
for the entire pack.
I mean, I got a package for 140 that was 2 airbrushes and hose and the quick disconnect system that was like at normal prices altogether was over like 250 for everything. And I was looking at it and it's like, yeah, and it's like I wanted one of those airbrushes and now I have a third one of those.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
That's awesome.
my original kit where I bought my air compressor and brush, I had a quick release with a hose and that. That was, I know I saved about $250 on
yeah.
it.
That's awesome.
Of course, unfortunately, it was a smaller nozzle on it. It was not meant for base coating, and that's what I thought it was for.
Yeah.
And so I did a lot of base coating of miniatures, and it did not work out very well.
Sure.
It would take forever.
Yeah. Also, Badger had their anniversary sale earlier this year. That was I up until the last minute. I was like, yeah, I think this is a scam, but I did it anyway, and the airbrush actually came because
That's crazy.
they had it. It was the deal was because it was the owner's 57th birthday, so you could buy any airbrush without any accessories and in a cheap plastic case for $57 if you PayPal'd that to this account that wasn't their official account.
That feels super sketchy.
Yes, but it was posted. But it was posted on their Facebook account.
Yeah.
And I looked at this, and they never came back and said, "No, don't do that. We were hacked."
Yeah.
And went through with it, and it took like a month and a half for the airbrush to get there, but it got there. And
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, it's like as you're describing this, all the things are
Yes,
like, no,
all
this is a
of my,
scam.
yes. All of my scam sensors went off, and I was like, they never said that they never said back on the Facebook page that this wasn't it. And then I actually looked at their webpage, and their webpage looks like somebody that still uses their AOL.com email account.
Okay.
So yeah, I was like, this still may be a scam, but we'll see. And they sent me the airbrush, and it was an awesome price for it.
That's awesome.
$50 is not really that much to get. I mean,
Yeah, that's cheap for an
I
airbrush.
haven't been really ripped off by like Kickstarter or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it's just like the way he describes it, the
Yeah.
sketchiness of the how
Yeah.
you're going through. It's like, oh, that feels super sketchy.
Yep.
You play a wacky practical April Fool's joke on your roommate because the toilet paper's upside down. That's crazy. Oh, that'll probably annoy him when he goes to use the
You
restroom.
put it in upside down.
It was upside down, so I assume you did it because no human being would purposely have their toilet paper in underhand.
Oh, and yeah, and
I don't bother. I don't care.
no, Ari
toilet
was saying
paper-
their airbrush hasn't come back. Mine actually showed up in the middle of Adepticon while I was in Chicago.
Oh, so it's very recent at
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah.
My toilet paper does not go in the dispenser. It's just put it on the bathroom counter next to the toilet.
Saw an
So I don't
alignment
have to-
chart that was all based on toilet paper, like how you put it on there.
Yeah.
The chaotic evil one, they just like the roll was vertical, like how you have it sitting on your end,
Yep.
and then the rod was shoved straight through it and then put in the thing.
Oh, I wonder what mine is, where it's just separate. It's probably
Lazy.
neutral evil.
Neutral lazy.
Yeah, I don't remember.
So something else that we're doing that I'm planning on working on as a company of iron scenario with a couple friends. Aggie started it. Zach has helped me with it. David and Matt down in Milwaukee have helped with it too. So we're doing an event sort of like it came from Lake Michigan, which is a zombie survival game where or it's not really survival. It's you have to take a company of iron list and fight against an unending swarm of risen and thrall warriors that come at you and see how long you can survive for. So it's going to be something we're going to make and see if we can get it tuned up enough so that it's like there's
Does it have to have
fair-
some kind of AI where the risen pilot themselves somehow,
no,
or do you have a second
we
player?
have a second player
Okay.
playing the Risen, and so it's been a lot of fun so far, and it's asymmetrical goals, and so when we get more of that stuff figured out, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm gonna try getting some boards made for Adepticon so I can set those out and be like,
Yeah.
hey, play these as a fun side event.
Hey, Andy.
Yeah.
Remember when Talby sent us barbecue sauce 2 years ago?
Yep.
Did you ever use that?
Nope.
Okay. Hey, Talbeast, we never reviewed the barbecue sauce you sent us 2 years ago.
It's on the counter still. It's on the counter sealed, but I assume it. I hope it's good.
Should
still.
still be good. Yeah, it's fine.
I haven't had food that I've wanted to utilize on it. So maybe we should make a plan.
When it gets warmer out, we'll have a barbecue. We'll have
Yeah.
a grill out. We'll have
Yeah.
a grill out, and we'll actively use the barbecue sauce.
It really is there. I promise you. It is right next to the booze I don't drink either.
I'll take all of that stuff that you
No,
don't eat
you
or
can't
drink.
have my rum. I got some of that the Captain Morgan's Black Label rum, And it's, again, that's something that's been sitting on there for, like, the friend that's gotten that for me for Christmas for the last 2 years, because I got nothing to mix it with.
Like, grocery stores exist.
I know, but I don't know what I've mixed with the black spicy rum with.
Nothing.
Cola or nothing. If you have to mix something, spiced rum I think goes wonderfully with cola.
Okay.
That's I've been on a low carb diet, and that is my standby drink has been Oak Heart and Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi.
Yeah, so chaotic neutral is leaving it empty. Oh, neutral's putting it on. I don't think that's neutral. Putting the new one on top of the old roller is not. Like, but none of them is it just being on the side, like on a toilet tank. So I guess that's the closest.
I would be neutral in my toilet. Why is chaotic good the one with it on the inside? No, that's not
Because
right.
at least you
'Cause
took the
it's
time
chaotic.
to put it on the
We did it
roller for
wrong.
people to use. You just did it in a way that annoys the shit out of them.
And hide spiders.
Yeah.
No.
So, I have a question for the three of you, and possibly Chad as well. They can chime in. I'm looking for ideas. So, back in the day, Brian Giese ran the Madison six-pack.
Yeah.
And we had the metal Privateer Press coins for the faction awards. So, when you did the best in your faction at a given event, you got a reward.
Yes.
The coins don't exist anymore.
Bastards.
Do they exist?
They're just
They're
really-
out there. I mean,
I can't get 6 of them easily enough, nor 12 of them for both sides. And some new factions exist that don't have coins.
well, you
I
should get on
can-
Privateer to make new coins.
I can laser cut wood small
Sure.
wood plaques.
That's an idea. Like that's what I'm looking for is really ideas on that because like
Yeah.
either proxy bases with the faction symbol on them or like what different ideas would be cool for like a prize for a series similar to that is not a coin or is useful in a game.
It wouldn't. That's a thing.
Yeah, the
can-
wooden plaques
I
are
can,
definitely a thing.
Yeah, I can do arbitrary cuts into wood or plastic, and I mean I think if you're looking at something sort of an award, the wood works better, and probably do anodized aluminum as well.
Yeah, as
I had-
Arctic Circle pointed out, there's the faction symbol pins the Privateer Press has. You could
Sure.
always just give people those.
Well, you could do this too. Is you can always laser cut some wood
And put
for
a
like the
pin on
faction
top of
signal
it.
itself, and then prime it, and then coat it with like a chrome or gold, and then actually make it a trophy.
Yeah,
and then attach it onto a.
I had wanted to make trophies out of it because you can go and get that fancy pink Himalayan salt. You can get the salt plates for cooking. I wanted to take that and laser cut something and just give people a block of salt as their trophy. But one of the people at the makerspace I belong to that has the laser cutter had said, not sure how much chlorine gas that would off gas in the process. So probably shouldn't do that.
The thing I'm trying to avoid, as Euclidean Neck points out, is questionable copyright legality is something I'm trying to avoid. So it's something I'm going to ask specifically with Privateer Press and or a company that possibly has their licensing.
From my experience, and this is weird telling you from my experience, is that recently they've been very lax in that regards. As long as it's not something that's really for sale.
Yeah.
I mean, previous people that were in that position before were very strict in what could and could not be used. But it seems like that they are, as long as it's not something that's really being used for profit, they've
Because
they've been
I'm just looking to
seemingly
give
okay
this,
with my stuff that I've been putting out.
because I'm looking to give this away as gifts or as awards for being best in faction, and so it's like 6 of them, and that's the issue with some of the stuff. Yeah, it's 6 events, 6 rounds, 6 series.
Right.
Yeah,
so
but
it's 6 times like what?
I know it's like the 6-pack. I'm well aware that it's exactly like the 6-pack. We were trying to do 9, but then realized it was going to take 3/4 of a year to run.
No. Our point is he was saying you're not doing 6 trophies. You're going to have.
I'm just going to do 6, 1 each event.
Oh, I thought you were doing best of. So you're doing best of faction. I thought you
So
said
you're not
you're doing
doing
best
best
of
of
faction.
So
Doing one faction token per event.
Yes, for each.
The
faction.
point we're getting to is that you're doing like 70 best of things,
Yes.
not 6.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I
My
think
apologies.
I think it would be pretty easy to, like I said, is to laser cut a gear out of wood, throw up whatever faction symbol laser cut into that, and then literally just, I mean, cutting the wood pieces. You can make them about X big,
Sure.
Yeah.
and then just priming them X color, and then throwing on a spray paint, some gold or chrome, some of that nice. There's like a chrome stuff that paints.
The stuff
on
I
really
used for my convergence, the shortcuts is what it's called. It's spray on metallic primer plus paint. You didn't even need primer; it just sprayed it straight on.
Yeah.
So an idea that
But it's a little gaudy, maybe, and it would chip eventually. Whereas just leaving it wood tone, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, on the wood, it's not going to chip as much as if it was metal, because metal will actually bend and actually,
Flake
wood
off.
wood is a little bit absorbent, I guess.
Sure.
an idea that Iggy and I were discussing was making a 50 millimeter base with a slot in it, and then putting like almost your a placard coming out of it with the faction symbol on it with the event on it. You can almost use it as an objective marker then. Mm-hmm. The issue is you don't need 6 of them. So that's some of the things I'm running into is like if you do something in the game that's useful in the game, like Broken Egg Games at one point made feet markers for lock and load 2015 or 14 or something like that.
Remember, yeah.
And so those were available, and those I have mine. I use mine all the time, but it's like I only need one of them. I don't need 6 feet tokens. I don't need 6 proxy bases would be good, but I don't know if it's really easy to do that.
Then can you think of 6 different things that would be useful to have?
Me particularly, no.
Really?
Well, two flags,
An
2
Oklahoma,
objectives.
an Oklahoma widget, 2 objectives, 2 flags, a feet marker. I mean, there's
that's
6. We're already there.
Yeah.
Right? And you can probably get more clever than doubling up on flag, but
Flags is doubling up on that. It's actually not a bad idea.
well then I mean, but the point is there's 6 right there, and I'm sure there's more that we didn't even name. And so by having a different prize each of the 6 packs, then it doesn't matter if you win more than once.
It gets weird for people that are completionists because I'm one of those completionists where
So
it's
win
like
all 6 times.
Sure.
Right?
Win
Real easy to
every
do-
faction all 6 times.
Really easy to do when he's running them.
Or live the way oh well.
Yeah,
sorry.
But what we said it was 50, 240s, a feet marker on Oklahoma. What was the 6th?
Oh, I did 2 50s, but I guess you never have 2 objectives, do you? So yeah, I don't know. You have to think of a 6th thing.
I mean, the one thing you could always do too is you could always, if you're looking to make money for using this as a fundraiser for something, is you could make it so it's a faction like a faction tournament set where you can have 2 12-inch zones for that has the faction symbol on it. Then you could have 2 rectangle zones. I have two there, 2 objectives, 2 flags, and then
I like the wall template idea from Aggie as well. Is do the 6th one as a wall template.
Sure.
For whatever spell effects that put into wall templates or a theme force bonus or whatnot.
I can cut zones. I can cut zones because I know I cut a zone with a circle symbol and a zone with the red symbol for Don at the shop.
Excellent.
But yeah, so and you can still think about other, maybe there's something you like more than whatever, but
Yeah.
that would prevent the doubling up. And yeah, it fucks completionists, but I guess win all 6, or you just don't. I mean, I'd love to have a first place of every single faction and have won every, I don't, because I never won a tournament as Kador. That's my life.
No, I hear you. It's more of, is that more interesting than the coins? Like the coins were interesting, but like they did nothing in the game besides, hey, look, I'm a big deal. And
A thing that does a thing is always nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, it's irrelevant because the coins are impossible to get.
other than
So
that,
we can't compare to the coins. You just have to
sure,
look at what to do.
but I'm looking at like what past history was at that point of
And I
people
get-
like the coins.
one option you could always do too is you could actually check out some. You guys dealt with challenge coins before. Is work on and see if you can do like a specific event style challenge coin for champion for each faction. Not for each faction, but just like a champion one.
Oh, at the
The
end,
minimum, the cost for challenge coins, if you do fewer than like 1,000 of them, is pretty nasty.
Because we ran into that with the Kickstarter because we didn't do what we did, maybe 200 tops. Not even
Yeah,
that.
something like that. It was the most expensive thing we did.
Okay.
And our challenge coin is much smaller than the PG challenge coins that
Sure,
we
sure.
received.
It's color on one side though,
Which is
Kinda
very neat. Yeah, it's very neat. Okay, cool. Thanks for the ideas, everyone.
Yay us!
Yeah, if you wanna email those in, you can email them at. I'm not going to say Travis's. Just podcast@crippledsystem.com.
Yeah.
I'll forward them over to Travis.
Or find Facebook or whatever.
Yeah.
Everyone's there.
Yeah, message Travis. Don't try to spell out his email address. It's the worst.
It's really easy.
No, it's not.
I fucked with Marshall the other day because I was recommending music. I know you like chiptune.
What?
Chiptune music. I've listened to chiptune with you before. We discussed it. We discussed chiptune music once upon a time.
Probably.
Yes. Anyway.
Travis, not compute. Please.
The stuff that has
supply.
think like how Nintendo or Super Nintendo music plays, like the little
Sure, the 8-bit.
computer, the 8-bit. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. So I was recommending a song to Marshall, and the way that they said, okay, so spelled just the way it sounds, Anamanaguchi, and he just
Sure.
gave me the angriest facial expression.
I could probably spell it close enough. Yeah, absolutely.
As long as you don't double up the N, because it's
Yeah.
a single N, but Anamanaguchi. But Mess by Anamanaguchi, good song.
Sure. Have you guys listened to the? I know many of you probably don't play the War Machine Tactics stuff, but they came out with the soundtrack for it, and the soundtrack for Denegra is amazing. It's moody strings and like it's moody strings is how we put it, and it was fantastic.
Okay.
The animation short they did. I mean,
That was-
that was
That was separate from Tactics.
it was separate. Okay, I thought it was actually a part of it.
Yeah, that was separate from Tactics because that was, from what I gathered on it, is the experiment to see how expensive it would be to make a animated movie. Is what I gathered from that trailer. So that
The
was
trailer we're talking about is Denegra versus
Haley.
Haley.
Was there any tasteful nudity?
No,
But during
Was
the
there any
process making
tasteless
it,
nudity?
no.
I'm sure in the process they made it, they probably did a render with them both naked
No, I meant of the little Death Rippers.
of the Death Rippers.
Yeah.
The Death Rippers aren't really little.
Compared to other wars. Although that is hilarious to like you think of them as these little things, then
No,
you
they're gigantic. They're the
like-
size of this room.
yeah. Well, not the size
No,
of this room.
well,
This table.
A
Yes.
little bit bigger than this table.
Yes.
There was the guy that this is way back
But they're
in
not
Mark
like a
1.
dog. They're like a hippo.
Do you remember the guy in Mark 1
Yeah.
who was making up his own life-size Death Ripper?
Yeah.
And it basically took up his living room.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
again, go
wonder
back
if
to
that guy
Jurassic
ever
Park.
finished
The juvenile T-Rex. It's like, oh, he's so little. He's only 6 feet tall, and it's like, yeah, but when you're proportioned like a T-Rex,
Yeah.
fuck you.
I wonder if that guy actually finished that.
I doubt it. You realize how long a project that is? That project is enormously long.
Yeah.
Like when
I'm
Games
just curious
Workshop
if
actually
there
made
was
a rhino.
If anybody out there had seen pictures of that or know if it ever got finished, I'd be really curious if it did.
It's very cool.
At
to
least
see-
the head was finished. I
the,
know
the
that.
head was finished. Like, it's very neat to
Just mount
see
the head on the wall.
full scale sort of things like the full scale Terminator costumes. Those are really neat.
Yeah.
But it's like it's a lot of work. Why don't I have a shed out back shaped like a Death Ripper? Because that's a ton of work and I don't have that much time.
Make a car shaped like a Death Ripper. Just put the face up on the front and just drive it around.
Can I answer my last thing?
You just did. You just said it was a lot of time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you the same answer. I have 4,000. I have 3,000 models to paint.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
You don't have to paint them.
You
I
should
would
you
like
should
to
show up
paint
on my new
them.
paint show.
Is your paint show ever going to happen?
It's probably going to happen. I'm
sorry for
it's-
Andy. I'm sorry. That was
No,
really
no.
like me sliding a knife in
No,
your
no,
back.
no.
My apologies on that.
So is this going to happen before or after Echo Chamber? Because I've been talking about that for 6 months, and it's never going to happen, clearly. But damn it,
I
it
don't
will.
care. You guys can come in here and record whenever you want.
No, it's not. No, it's me.
Jump on anything.
No, it's me. That's
No,
the
I-
reason why it's not happening.
But for the painting show,
When's my Gwent podcast?
you
the
can
people
come and
want
record
it.
it all you want.
What's going?
Come in on a Saturday. You're fine. It's not live.
Online card game.
Yeah. You know Gwent.
No, I don't.
Anyway,
So the big question, I don't think, I mean, I understand it's non-interactable carryover, but the Elven War Dancer I think is a cool card, but people
Andy,
hate the shit out of that
I'd
card.
love to hear your story about your painting podcast.
my painting podcast that I want to do, I'm in a conundrum right now. So I want to do Mondays.
Sure.
Monday nights, which would work perfectly for my painting podcast.
Yep.
Except for the person that I paint with on Tuesdays.
Yep.
We're only on Tuesdays because his wife is off bowling.
So you'd have to
bowling
do it
on Mondays. So Jeremy's going to come back over on Mondays, which is going to be awkward because I'm going to be having a podcast at the same time that we're normally painting. So now do I paint for 2 hours before Jeremy comes over? And then
Wait, I'm confused. He's the person you normally paint with, but you normally paint with him on Tuesdays.
I was normally painting with him on Mondays, but we switched to Tuesdays
Okay.
because of his wife was bowling.
Sure. Why don't
Then why
you
don't you do the
paint on
podcast on
Tuesdays,
Tuesdays?
and point a camera at it?
Yeah.
Well, then I don't have a good spot to set up said camera in the living room. I don't want to. I
don't wanna paint up here?
I don't want to paint up
Right.
here either.
Have you seen how difficult it is for me to do my painting podcast sort of thing?
No.
It's putting
we
a
never watch
camera.
your podcast.
Yeah, of course you don't.
I watched it a little bit once.
It's pain in the ass to get, like, how Dallas is dealing with it and everything like that.
Yeah.
Even how Faces and Bases does it, it's a pain in the ass. Like, trying to get those cameras set up and trying to get them so you can actually see what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's impossible to tell what's going on almost all the times.
Pretty good. I've been dealing with setting up painters tables for War Machine Weekend and done demonstrations
with the
stuff
demos,
with,
yeah.
with my hands. And
That'll
the
help.
camera.
Like, for me, I'm not used to doing any of that, so it's like getting this camera set up is just a pain in the ass.
I got a bunch of equipment downstairs for reposable cameras and stuff like that, all ready to go. I just have a conundrum because I like Jeremy, but I don't. It would be weird for me to have him in the room and I'm just basically ignoring him talking to people on a computer.
There's a Kofoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've found that with, like, when I'm doing it with Aggie, if it's just me on the stream, it's terrible. With Aggie on the stream, it's way better.
Right, but the point is, if I was just in your house, just awkwardly sitting in the same
It would
room
not
while
be
you
good.
podcasted.
Yeah, that'd be terrible. I would agree that's terrible, but it's like, if you could include them.
What would be better is if you got Nathan in the same room awkwardly playing Gwent and drinking while you're doing the
You
painting
can do that too.
podcast.
That's fine with me.
I'm saying maybe it's because I play Scoia'tael, but I think that Elven Ward Answer is a fine card. I understand the frustration, but guess what? Shit's frustrating. Like, I think Imlerith Sabbath is frustrating to face. That's how games work. Things have power.
Have a co-host.
Yeah, co-host would be nice. The other thing though is too is I
Just gonna
got
ignore
two
you.
cameras.
That's fine. I just wedge it in between sentences sometimes, and the people who care, they get my opinion.
But I only have two cameras now.
Yeah.
I did just buy a brand new one so I could have one that would be on me and then one on there.
Sure.
It's something I could always just have basically whatever he's painting going on, whatever
Absolutely.
I'm painting going on.
Yeah.
But then we don't have a shot of us.
Do you really need a shot of you?
Maybe. I like shots of me.
Sure.
Oh.
But the thing is with that is when you're painting, and I've noticed this when I'm painting with Aggie, is I'm like this the entire time, and all you see is the top of my head. You don't ever really see me.
If I'm actually,
Is that a bad thing?
yeah.
I don't know. More often than not,
It
you probably
is.
see the collection
See,
behind
Aggie
me.
brings the personality. You bring the sex appeal.
I'm not. No. I think you're wrong.
Snarf, snarf.
Isn't
Why,
Lillian
you
gonna
know?
get jealous of you?
Eh.
Okay.
All right.
Travis the
so coming
Ferox?
soon-
No.
Coming soon, though. I mean, I will have a painting show. It's either Mondays or Tuesdays.
Nice.
We'll find out either or. I was supposed to be going to do curling with them.
Curling's a ton of fun. You should do curling if you're going to do curling. Curling's a
can't do it.
blast. Why can't you do curling?
Because the first week of curling that I would be going with Kofoot and company is Weird Al. And then I am missing the last week. Nathan and I are going to miss him because we're going to go see who? Nathan, you and I were going to go see a show
Metallica?
together.
Oh, yeah, I talked to Raylene about that. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, can she go?
We were going to look into it. It was, what, the second or something?
There's one more ticket if Raylene's going.
Yeah.
To go
you
see
said
Judge
you
Mathis.
said you had 3 tickets, and so I asked.
Yeah, Judge Mathis. Travis, you want to go?
Is that like...
Judge Mathis is my favorite of the daytime judges.
He is the one where he'll just literally call one of his litigants a crackhead in the middle of the entire.
I don't like daytime judges.
You've probably watched the wrong ones.
Yep, you
you
have.
you watched like Judge Joe Brown or some shit like
Yeah,
that.
and that's just
I
bad.
don't care about
Judge
any
Mathis
of them.
is so good.
Judge
I-
Mathis, Judge Judy's a classic. Marilyn Milian, in the People's Court. She's
Yes.
solid.
I don't understand why people would want to go on TV to have their case.
Oh no,
I can tell you why they do it. It's free money.
Yeah, they get paid for it. Pretty much all these shows have a fund that they
Sure.
pull from, and usually it's $5,000 per person.
Sure.
They pay for you to come out, to fly out to wherever they're at, and then you have your case. So basically, you make your laundry public for everyone. It's
For
a legal binding
$5,000?
case, and then your whatever judgment you have is taken from that money.
Yeah, that's why they cap the judgments at $5,000. Like if you and I went on there and you won $1,000 from me, I would get 4 and you'd get 6. We still make money for being on the show.
That's why they're so happy when they leave. Generally, most of the time they're not trying to. I mean, a lot of times the case is something that's like really personal,
Yeah.
really family oriented, but they're not about to kill each other at the end because they're both going to get paid.
That, yeah, I'm agreeing with Aggie on this. Merca's fucked up.
No, I'm going to go see Judge Mathis, and it is going to be amazing.
I'm sure you're gonna enjoy it. It sounds so foreign and fucked up to me.
Schadenfreude
that's
is
why
not
they
a
go.
uniquely American thing.
That's why you should go.
I was
though.
gonna say,
This
in
is-
fact, the word is German, as
I
it
know.
turns out.
But this whole concept of airing your laundry in public.
Also, spoiler alert, half the laundry probably ain't real.
Sure,
Crackheads just want free money.
but
So like, here, steal my car.
so who
steal my
pays-
car, and then I'll sue you on Judge Mathis.
so who pays?
It's advertisers.
Yeah, it's the same as the prize money on Wheel of Fortune. It's just
Yeah.
prize money for being on a show.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like saying who pays the $1 million on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Sure.
Generally, they
It's
are
money
legal
that-
binding agreements, though, too. It's like if somebody has to actually get stuff from somebody else's house, then
They get it.
they've ruled
It is
Yeah,
legal
they-
binding,
they-
yes.
yeah,
They're
you
real
get-
judges. I understand that.
They're real arbitrators.
Yeah.
They're not.
Legally binding.
Some of them
arbitration.
are real judges, but for the legal necessity of the show, they only need to be arbitrators.
Okay.
Most of them are actually judges, but some of them just are judge, wink, wink. The same Dr. Phil is a doctor, wink, wink.
Sure.
Dr. Phil has a PhD. I think.
Yeah, that doesn't
Yeah.
make him a fucking doctor. Sure, he can use the title.
I
When you
get where you're
describe
going,
someone as
David.
being a doctor, you don't just
Correct.
mean an asshole with a PhD in art history. You mean somebody who can cut you open and make you not die.
Or a
The,
psychologist.
the word for that is physician.
I understand that, but the point is Oshkosh is an American company.
So I have a question for you, Nathan.
Yeah.
My playtesters back home will enjoy this. When you order a pizza, what is the default for a pizza? What constitutes a pizza?
That's it.
I would say that just generic delivery pizza is going to be not crispy thin, but just, just a standard
you're talking
stuff.
about bread stuff.
Wait,
I thought you were talking
who
about toppings.
calls and orders a pizza?
So when you
I'm
ask
saying
for a
it's,
pizza,
it's floppy but not deep crust with marinara sauce
wait,
and
wait,
cheese.
no, hold on. Who does that? Because I mean, I bring up the website and click and pick the crust.
so the question is cheese
How
a
did
topping
you
or
order
not?
pizza in the 80s?
Cheese is not a topping. That is an essential aspect of a pizza by default.
Correct.
So,
A pizza is bread, sauce, cheese, go from there.
More cheese.
That
if I can-
additional cheese would be a topping.
Correct.
But bread, sauce, cheese is the default of a pizza.
And
but
if it
I
does
can
not
remove
include
cheese though from pizzas.
You sure can. I can remove the bread from a sandwich. But it
is
still is default part of the sandwich.
and if the pizza does
Define
not
a sandwich, Nathan.
does not include bread, tomato sauce, or cheese, it mentions that explicitly in the description of it.
Yeah.
Sure.
You can, never mind. I almost
So-
got terrible.
So if I ask you to go order a
Say
pizza,
a default dog has 4 legs, but it's possible to get one with fewer. That doesn't mean that that's not a default.
you could also possibly get one with more.
Correct. Correct. There's options there.
How do you get more legs on a dog?
Mutants.
Or
Same
just
way you get less.
needle and thread. I got a guy named Moreau I can hook you up with. He'll get you a weird dog. But no. Crust, sauce, cheese. And I'm not even I did that originally, but it doesn't even have to be marinara. You can go with like a white sauce if you're going with like one of those like spinach, style pizzas.
But I mean that's a variant. You would
that's a
describe
variant.
that.
Yeah, I would say the default. If you just say pizza, just pizza by default with no specification is bread, marinara sauce, cheese.
Yes.
Yep.
I don't remember the counter argument to this, so I'm not going to participate in it.
What? You brought it up?
I know. I just wanted to see his reaction to it.
No,
I'm
that's,
okay with that.
It wasn't
Speaking
really
of
a
which,
bad reaction.
we should fucking go to Mod after this and get us some pizza.
Where's that at?
Mod?
Where?
It's the nearest one is over by the Pick and Save on Fish Hatch.
I could possibly do
Have
that.
you not Mod Pizza yet?
But there's a-
I keep recommending Mod Pizza.
But there's-
Have you Mod Pizza?
Am I not going to go to Who Hots and try to fill my soul again?
Oh, we're gonna do Who Hot?
We're doing Who Hot after
Am I
this?
filling my soul? I don't know what I'm doing.
You won't fill your soul at Mod. It is not an infinite food thing.
Well, I can almost fill my soul at Who Hots. It just takes 2 trips to Who
All
Hot.
right, so are
We
you,
can go to Mod as appetizers, and then you can go to Who
It
Hot.
takes 5 plates at 2 separate trips, and
Oh.
then I am done with Who Hots. It has to be concurrent days. So if I go on Saturday and then go on Sunday, I am dead on
It starts to
Sunday.
wear off, so you have to get like a booster.
so what you need to do, Travis, you need to find out some way that you end up working in my building and then just go right across the street for lunch.
I am super jealous that you work next to Who Hot.
Eat at Who Hot, you ever?
I don't
Because they got
understand.
rid of your mean
they
bean
got
sauce.
rid of mean bean garlic sauce,
Sure.
and that was the best.
So make it yourself. I'm sure you can get similar by combining things.
I tried. It's not the same.
I love Who Hot though, because I mean this is the low carb thing. It's just a place to go. Then it's like, yes, I would like a giant pile of meat.
Yes, you
That's
can
it.
do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Just
absolutely.
here's this meat. Sear it for me. Thank you.
See,
I just literally go up with 2 bowls all the time. One bowl is all the meat, and one bowl is the noodles.
see, if I didn't work today, we could have just gone to Samba in the morning.
Oh,
yeah,
I know. I thought about that.
I haven't
Yeah.
been to Samba since we last went. I need to go there again.
yeah.
I need my
Yes.
pineapple.
The official ATC staff meal after setup is a Brazilian steakhouse.
Welcome to the team.
I just got added to the team.
Yeah.
Oh, now Nathan appears sad.
No, I'm not saying. I'm reading chat.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about reality TV and MasterChef, Hell's Kitchen, all those, and whatever.
And how fat I'd be if I lived next
Amazing
to Who Hots.
show.
You'd be very
I need
fat,
to watch
too.
it.
Well,
but
you just don't eat the noodles. You just eat the meat, and it works out.
Sure, I don't have noodles anyway. I just have rice.
Skip the rice too. Yeah,
Yeah, I'd have to skip the
Just
rice.
get the meat.
I think you recommended this last time.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
I've described that concept to Jim, and Jim's somewhat interested in the show.
Nailed it.
That non-Euclidean Nick, you can't. That violates buffet rules of going from the end and going back to the beginning.
No. So here's what you do at a Brazil or a Mongolian grill.
Why would it matter
Sorry, I was
to put
thinking
veggies first and then meat on top
I don't get the difference. Yeah, I'm not. I'm
versus
lost.
meat and then veggies on top?
I got my type of grills mixed up when I was thinking Brazilian steakhouse versus Mongolian grill. So
Yeah.
I was about to tell Nick to say that if somebody comes by with veggies, you flip over that tumbler to red, and then you wait for them to go away, and then you flip it back to green.
I still say those toggles need to have 3 sides so that you can be everything, then meat and pineapple, and then just pineapple.
Yeah,
I
like
also-
chicken, go away, chicken.
Oh no, that's right. No, because they only do meat and pineapple. So yeah, there should just be a steak, like no chicken, just
No
a big-
chicken, just go away.
Should there also be
Stop
just
fucking-
one for me?
Our first podcast Sambas, I almost killed a guy. The first time Crippled System had their annual Samba meal.
So
We were sitting at the table thusly, except I'm sitting basically where Andy is, at one end of the table. And sitting next to me are, I think it was Raylene and Katie, and they were both done. They'd finished, they were just napping. And I'm still fatty wants food. And down over here are like Andy and Brian and Jeremy, and they're just shoving stuff and they're going.
Yep.
And so I'm down at this table. So a guy comes along with like some top sirloin, and he carves a big chunk onto Brian's, and carves a big chunk onto Andy's, and carves big chunks onto Jeremy's. He looks over and sees the unconscious women and walks right past me. And I go, what the fuck? What the fuck was that? Oh, but just then from behind me, oh, excuse me, sir. And I'm like, great. He came back, and I turn around. It's goddamn barbecue chicken. I almost killed that fucking chicken guy.
So Aggie, what it is you have a red and a green wooden tumbler.
Yeah.
And if it's red up, they don't stop at your table. If it's green up, they stop at your table.
As long as it's green, you get infinite meat.
Yes.
Or
Yep.
food in general.
Meat.
You get
It's-
you
it's-
get pineapple too.
You
It
get
is
you get the
meat,
poor saps,
and then sometimes they have pineapple, and that's it.
and then you get the poor
they-
saps
they
that
bring
walk up to
bread
your
all the
table
time.
and like, do you want? Like, no, I don't want any more sausage, sir. Please go away.
You want
So,
everything.
The
I
thing
don't want
is,
that.
so the last time we were there, everyone else was done, and I was the only one still eating, and everyone else had to say no a lot. Because
You just fill up on more pineapple. Ugh. When are we
The
going to
place we
Samba
went in
now?
Milwaukee had the jalapeno things on them, but
The barbecue jalapenos?
yeah,
Those were good.
But they didn't take the seeds out, and so those fuckers were vicious.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Hey,
Eggy.
You have to mention what
There's
you...
lots of
No,
veg-
you don't start with me about that eggy.
No, you
I
have
will reach
to-
to the internet and stab her.
Yeah, if you go to Samba, they have both grilled pineapple. Samba.
She's
If you go to Samba,
She's talking about how much I screwed up the food options at ATC, which is already well known, and she's specifically trying
but you
to.
can get pineapple and bread at Samba, and it's good.
That's what happens when
Pineapple
you have
sandwich?
to run an event all by yourself, like Travis does.
Yeah, if he had another judge there, it would be great.
Well, I mean, it's tough.
Yeah,
It's tough. Poor guy
you lived the hard knock.
founded an event all by himself with no fucking.
You ran that Kickstarter too by yourself.
I
too,
just
Travis.
I
You
just
did
trolled
really well.
myself because I remembered goddamn Jackie. Fucking
What?
at Thanksgiving when Jackie's like, "Hey, are you gonna help Travis run the ATC again?" And I almost killed her. It's okay, Mark. It's okay.
Mark.
Dan and I call him Zuckerberg. One of these days, he's not going to be joking about that. He's legit going to stab me.
So we were talking about people getting away with things, doing something live on Twitch.
They've all got my back.
I don't think Fizzgeek has your back.
Fizzgig has everybody's back because he's a vicious monster. All right.
So no, I did run that through you guys. You guys all said it was okay.
The knife?
Bullshit.
You didn't run the knife through me.
There is no way that I told you to get the same menu both days, so I know you're lying. I
I'm
100%
pretty positive
know
I
you're
asked you
lying.
guys.
I would never have told you to get the same menu
The
both
issue
days.
is we can't check it ever because I think it was on a voice conversation, so we have no recording.
I was
Zero way I, would have told you.
I
to
will
get the
say
same
my
menu both
primary
days.
disappointment with that was that we were at an event in Wisconsin and they served cheese and it was shitty cheese.
Yeah,
Fix that.
I'll try.
I was fine with brats and burgers.
And
Yeah,
that's-
yeah, I was fine with- yeah, the brats were okay. It was just shitty cheese in Wisconsin. That's
well,
wrong.
Yeah, it was hamburgers, so they just had American cheese and Swiss, and that was it. They didn't have cheddar and whatnot, and that's fine. I mean, it's not
Provolone.
fine, but there's zero chance I told you to get the same menu both days. Because last year I was so gung ho about making sure we did the brats one day and like the fried chicken like picnic meal the next day.
And the picnic meal was awful.
Sure, now we know. So we should have done the pasta meal this time with some nice rotini and baked ziti.
We should
Pasta
also
that you
take
can add in other
vegetarian
things.
meals next year.
Pasta where you can add in meat. That would be something nice.
There is a very fixed selection of meals available at this hotel.
What the vegetarians can eat is me. Eat me. Fucking losers.
Hey,
Jesus.
Eat a big sandwich with broccoli.
They can also eat
hamburger.
that too, Travis.
You know what?
Hey.
Travis, they can also eat that too.
They can eat hay. That's
Yep.
true. That's what vegetarians
that's
should eat
not
is
what
hay.
I meant.
That meal we
You be
had.
nice to vegetarian.
I don't have to be. They made a terrible life decision. They have to live with it. That menu that we had potato salad. It had fruits and vegetables. It had bread. It had all
So,
kinds of
you know what
non-meat
the worst thing you
options.
could ever do to a vegetarian is? Here, have the kids' snacks as the vegetarian option. That's like the most.
They get Capri Sun.
That's
that's great.
my
I love
God,
Capri
you guys are
Sun.
terrible human beings.
Crackers.
All of you. Yeah, no. Oh,
You know what they
Jesus
could
Christ.
eat? What you do is you say,
And it
here.
brings back some point. Do any of those have protein in them?
You know what has protein? A hamburger and a brat.
And
They're
cheese.
delicious. Yeah.
So we're talking vegetarian or vegan because cheese has
Vegetarian.
protein.
Yeah, there were beans. There were baked beans there. Delicious, nutritious, high in protein.
That's exactly what you want to eat when you're in a room full of people.
The other people were already eating lots of baked beans. The
Yeah, I was-
vegetarians would be
Nathan,
a
you
drop
dis-
in the rain.
You disappoint me.
Do you? Does he? Does he really?
I mean, in general, I'm sure I do.
Yeah.
I mean, the baked beans were vegetarian. They were
Are
nothing
you
but
sure?
beans, sauce, and ham chunks. And ham isn't a meat.
It's a delicacy.
So,
Ham is a salad ingredient. Salads aren't meat. Salads are vegetables and cheese and ham. And eggs sometimes.
This reminds me of my friend who's a professor and also a vegetarian that tried to get a meal at a restaurant in the South and could not find a single option on a large restaurant's menu that did not have some sort of meat in it, because even the green beans were cooked with pork fat.
Because that was like the best way to, that sounds like a great restaurant.
Campbell's vegetable soup is beef broth, which
it sounds
means
like
it's
a restaurant that likes to embrace its entire menu.
It's vegetable soup. Vegetable and vegetarian are two different things.
I understand.
They probably have a vegetarian soup as well.
You're just lucky I can't hate you to death.
No,
This time I'm making a valid point.
You've already dead before your point.
Nathan is just happy in general that it is impossible for anyone to hate someone to death.
If anyone could hate someone to death, I would have committed suicide decades ago. My point on baked bean doesn't fail. It's just ham and baked beans. That's vegetarian. Ham doesn't count. It's too smart to be an animal.
I was trying to see if we actually had any Zappity Grumbles. I don't think we really
I really hoped my sigh came across. It probably didn't, but I really hope it did. This is why there's some other judge on my event.
Fine. Yeah. That's fine. You run your event, and I'll eat some good old-fashioned piles of meat like American.
At a Brazilian steakhouse.
Hell yeah.
It's a good thing that this is the last episode we're ever doing. Damn it, we're here next week, too.
Says who?
It's 2:31 Prime.
What?
That's next. This is 2:30, wasn't it?
2:32.
2:30. Yeah, no.
You posted 2:30 on Facebook, so
on the yeah, whatever.
Either way, 231 is not prime. It's 77 times 3.
Oh, yes, we already did
we had that 2 episodes ago.
Is, yep.
There's no Zappity.
Did you not watch the video I posted on Facebook a couple hours ago?
No.
It's Michael from Vsauce reciting prime numbers in order for 3 hours.
What's Vsauce?
You would like Vsauce. I'll send you a couple links of some of my favorite episodes.
Sure.
It's not like that fucking game that Travis and all the Privateer staff people were trying to get me to play all throughout Adepticon.
What game was that?
Come on,
Primes.
a cracker?
What?
Primes.
Primes is the best game ever.
No, it's the worst game ever.
That you can blame Getz for that.
Yeah.
So Primes is
No.
I'll describe the first game first. 12s is you roll.
12 isn't prime.
It doesn't. They're not.
So you lost
related.
Nathan already.
Yeah, I mean, what the hell kind of false advertisement is this?
12s is where you take any die. It doesn't matter what number size it is, and you're trying to roll the number 12. If
That's
you roll,
hard on a 3-sided die.
Yep. So if you roll beneath 12, you add a die. And you keep adding dies as long as you roll beneath the number. If you roll greater than the number, you keep rolling. Your goal is to try to hit the number.
Sure.
So getting 6d6 trying to roll 12 is really difficult, turns out. Doing primes is do the same concept, except you're trying to aim for prime numbers, and you just keep successively going higher in prime numbers.
You just add a die every time you fail?
Every time you roll below a prime number.
Yeah.
Well, a single die already rolls below a prime number.
No. So that you would count. I mean, you would count 1. So you roll a d6 until you get a 1 until you roll underneath that. And then
You
Can't roll under 1.
One
I'm
is
very
right prime.
confused.
So you if you
And
take
1
a
is not
d6,
prime either. But
whatever. Assume 1 is prime for this
Okay.
discussion.
No.
But for the flawed game, they counted as, and that's fine.
Assume 1 is not prime. It doesn't matter. You roll a 1, you add a second die. If you roll a 3, 4, 5, or 6, you don't add a die.
So you add a die when you roll a prime.
When you roll underneath the number you're aiming for. So if 2 is your first prime number, you roll a d6. If you roll a 1, you add a die. If you roll underneath 2 again, but not equal to 2, you add a die, which is impossible to do on 2d6. If you ever equal 2, you then go to the next prime number.
3.
And then you roll until you get a 3. If you roll underneath a 3, you add a die. And you keep. If you
Do
roll
eventually
over,
you just have a dump truck and you're going for like 30,145?
Yeah, pretty
Sure.
much.
Okay.
But
that's the game that they tried to trick me
Nathan,
into playing
not
all
prime.
day. It's like it took me 3 hours to get 11.
It was gonna be. I was April Fooling him.
I don't care. I wasn't actually trying to determine if you were prime or not.
It ended in 5,
It
so it
ended
was
in 5.
easily not a prime.
I just don't care.
Nothing matters more than prime numbers, Travis.
So it turns out trying to get 11 on was it 66 or was it 5d6? I was trying to get it on.
I don't know. You
was
said
a
you
lot.
took like 3 hours to do it, and I'm
it
like,
took a long
you're not
time
going
to
to
get
trick me into
11.
playing this fucking game.
It was awesome.
No.
So if you're ever bored, that's a game to play.
Is there-
12s or primes. Take your pick.
Don't do that. Nathan will obsess over it.
No, I don't like who wins.
You do.
No one. You do.
The person who convinced you to play, clearly.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. Exactly.
So that's a way to waste
This is
time.
like one of those games that you make your kids play so they'll shut the fuck up for 10 minutes.
I think
I saw a cool one the other day, which is you put a $5 bill between their nose and the wall, and
have-
first to drop it, the other one gets it.
Yeah.
It's also like when you steal a couple aces out of somebody's deck and then you just watch them play solitaire and then complain that they can't win. That's fun.
Yeah,
You guys are horrible people.
that's true.
I did that to somebody waiting for in line for Star Wars.
I recommend. Did I say it on the? I think I said on Facebook. Did I recommend the Joel McHale show here, or did I just do it on Facebook? Fuck you. So remember the soup and how the soup was... First it was Talk Soup, and then they just called it the soup, speaking of reality TV. So all it is, it's back on Netflix. It's the Joel McHale show starring Joel McHale, and it's exactly the same thing as the soup, which I loved so dearly. And Andy, you should love the soup, because you liked Attack of the Show and those other like live where the people behind the camera would sometimes shout shit kind of shows. But it's a weekly show on Netflix, which is unusual for Netflix to have a show that isn't bingeable. It actually does come out weekly, but it has to, because the nature is that Joel McHale talks shit about that week's reality TV series. And they're great. He'll make fun of The Bachelor. He'll make fun of Vanderpelt Rules. He'll make fun of international shit. And it's funny. It's good stuff.
I find it funny how he has come around to doing that again, though.
Yeah.
Because he broke
They
off
make fun
from
of him.
doing
They have
it.
celebrities come in because they keep having like people who are on other Netflix shows come in to plug their show and then also
Sure.
make fun of him.
Okay.
Like Timothy Oliphant and Drew Barrymore were on their last episode plugging Santa Clarita Diet, which he's
Oh,
on.
yep.
And Drew Barrymore's like, and this is just like when I was in the hit film. Oh, Timothy Oliphant mentioned being in Scream 3, I believe he's in. And Drew Barrymore's like, oh, I was in the first Scream movie. And they're like, oh, I'm like, Joel, what major Hollywood films have you been in? He's like, get off my show. But it's good stuff. Joel McHale show. If you liked the soup/talk soup, it's back in that form. Who's that other shithead who basically did the same thing, but he sucks?
Skunk Boy.
No, that fucko from Talking Dead that I don't like.
Chris Hardwick didn't do.
He
Talk
did
Soup.
basically Talk Soup, but with like the internets.
Yeah.
Was that the Tosh guy?
No, Tosh is
Chris
somebody.
Hardwick
No,
is
Chris
different.
Hardwick is what we're talking
Chris
about.
Hardwick was exactly the same as Tosh.0, except that Chris Hardwick is more tolerable than Tosh.
And
Okay.
funnier.
Right.
I accidentally watched part of an episode of Tosh once, and it was...
You lost some brain cells, right?
I like
He can be funny sometimes, but he also, his gimmick is being, offensive. And sometimes that's good, sometimes you're just not in the mood for it.
I enjoy like the first 10 minutes of it because I'm watching whatever videos it is that are on
Yeah,
there.
yeah. The more it is of him talking, the less entertaining it is versus just showing the videos and making a few snarky comments.
Correct. I sometimes do enjoy what he does to his office for his coworkers.
Sure.
For his skits.
But Joel McHale show starring Joel McHale. It's on Netflix, so
Chris Hardwick is fine. He's just everywhere. That's I think the only problem with him right now is he has got supreme overexposure.
yeah. And the main thing I know him from currently is a show that is just a sign of how terrible American culture consumption, media consumption is, and also based on a show that sucks.
Is that the
Talking Dead. Yeah,
Well, Talking Dead is fine. Actually, it's The Walking Dead.
it's probably
is the worst.
better than Walking Dead.
it
I didn't
is
say
more
Talking Dead was
interesting.
bad, but Talking Dead is the incarnation of wow. America is so into mass media consumption that we need to then watch a show about the show we just watched instead of just talking to each other about it. We have to watch other people talk
But-
about it, and also the show sucks.
But I will give this to Chris Hardwick and the crew that runs the Talking Dead, and then Talking Saul and all the other talking.
That's not even a pun.
But I know, but they do it so much better. Because have you ever tried to watch any of the other shows like Sons of Anarchy?
Yeah, they are bad.
When they were doing theirs, the one for Bates Motel, where they tried doing their own talk show for it.
Isn't there a Game of Thrones ones too, or something?
I think there was
probably-
one for the Game of Thrones, and they are the. Oh my God! I don't know how.
Would you watch a Westworld one
No,
if Chris Hardwick was on it?
maybe.
Oh, West,
There's
I mean, if
no
Chris
to
Hardwick
yes.
is one. I mean,
Maybe.
I'm sure he handles parts of the production of
Yeah.
it, but they don't always talk about the show, and they don't try to hype the show all the time on The
Yeah.
Talking Dead. They do say, "Ooh, that was kind of cool," but
Yeah.
unlike the other ones, the Bates Motel ones, where they were just sucking the show off, and it was just
Whoa.
yeah, it was horrible.
So
I couldn't make it through them.
So speaking of Chris Hardwick being on everything, I'm going to recommend Critical Role. It is a D&D show that's on twitch.tv/Geek and Sundry on Thursday nights, and I think it's 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Time. And it is a bunch of voice actors
Quick,
and
just
actresses.
jump in here. Arctic Circle, you fucking liar. Talking Dead premiered October 16th, 2011. Talking Bad premiered August 11th, 2013. Almost
Correct.
2 years later.
Yeah.
He said Talking Dead is a ripoff of Talking Bad, and he's backwards by 2 years. My apologies. Critical Role.
So it's a bunch of voice actors. So it's got Matt Mercer as a DM, who is... He has
Voice
his
of McCree.
strengths. It's voice of McCree and voice of many different anime. And he DMs it, and he and the rest of the voice actors and actresses are trying to tell a very interesting story in their own campaign and realm and everything. And it's highly entertaining. I've been slacking on watching it lately, but it's always a lot of fun to watch and listen and try to even just listening to other players and other GMs talking and interacting with their game, you improve your own storytelling and your own interaction in games. And that's part of why my character in my D&D game has this weird voice we talk in, and it's that sort of thing where it's you interact and you focus better on the game when you're in that kind of thing versus just being like, hey, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
It helps that kind of immersiveness to it. And I enjoy the show a lot. It's on its second campaign now, and so you don't have to catch up on the hundreds of hours that it was to catch up on the first campaign, because I think it was like 160 or 170 some odd episodes at 4 hours a piece. 4 hours a piece takes quite a while to catch up. The new one I think is 6 or 7 episodes in currently, so it's not that hard to catch up on that. And no, Aggie, I'm not going to listen to film reroll as you keep trying to push me to.
Have you seen, because I previously mentioned it, but Harmon Quest?
I've heard about it. I have not seen it or listened to it.
It's very different because Harmon Quest is just like hour long, and they animate them, and it's
I've heard about it.
it's not the whole as
similar
in depth,
to it.
but it's different enough that it doesn't compete, and it's worth checking out if you enjoy that same thing. Especially at very least the episode with Jason Mantzoukas, which you might know as you wouldn't know him as anything, but he's fucking hilarious. People who
is he
know
the guy in
He's not
Pacific
really
Rim?
psycho.
is he in Pacific Rim? No.
I don't know. I can't tell that.
You think of Charlie Day is what you're thinking
I'm
of.
probably thinking of Charlie Day.
Yeah.
Have you watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
No.
Have you watched The League?
No.
Travis doesn't like sports.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I knew you wouldn't, but he's goddamn hilarious, and he had never role played before, and they brought him in, and he
that'd
just
be a ton of fun.
he goes to town, and he's doing hilarious shit, and then he starts like, "Am I doing this right?" And they're like, "Yeah, you're doing great. Keep going."
It's great watching the people that don't really know how to D&D or just play games, and then they interact with that sort of thing. It's always really fun to watch them try to get into that. And I was trying to think of something, and you totally lost my train of thought on that.
Sorry, it was film reroll.
Aggie really wants me to listen to that. I just haven't listened.
What is it?
Aggie, describe what film reroll is. It's like I don't
Oh
know
yeah,
what it
we'll
is.
just sit here in silence. She types it in. I don't know what it is, but
Oh, I remember now. Is Harmon Quest so like Critical Role, not Critical Reroll. Critical Role is improv at the time, and they don't really edit it because it's live streamed.
Harmon Quest is actually live on stage. They do them live in theaters in front of audiences, and then they pare it down and animate like the most
Certain
entertaining parts. Like the live show's probably like 4 hours long, and then the episodes that go out are not.
Okay, because it may not be Harmon Quest. Then there's another type show where it's meant for that kind of consumption.
Sure.
And it's edited to be that kind of consumption. I forget what the name of it is, but I was wondering if that
The only
was it.
two that I know are Harmon Quest and Critical Role, and neither of them is that.
there's another one.
I also know I hit it with my axe, but that's defunct now. But that was the one that was basically Critical Role, except all of the people playing and DMing, instead of being voice actors, were professional porn stars. which is actually really interesting.
There's still shows like that going on.
Is Hit It With Max still going on?
Not with
or is it
that
a
one,
different
but there's different ones.
Okay, sure.
But
But
there's,
it was cool because it was just them like in t-shirt and jeans. That just it's like, hey, look, normal people. They just have a weird job.
That's like go ahead.
Well, I was going to say Rooster Teeth has one that's going on right now, Heroes and Halfwits, which is kind of in that same vein, as where it's like a 2-hour adventure or so with all their talent on the show.
Okay, film reroll sounds awesome, and you're dumb for not listening to
Probably.
it. Because they take a movie, they roll the character's stats using the GURPS system, and then they replay through from those characters.
Sure. I just haven't had time to listen to it. That's the only reason.
Sure.
Speaking of what you're referencing with the
with
normal
Max?
human beings,
Yeah.
It's very interesting. At one point, Pam Horton, who was in Playboy,
Yeah.
was on Geek and Sundry, and it's always interesting to be like, hey, look, they're not an object. They're
Right.
a real human being with real interests and real things that are going on behind them, and it's always great to have that kind of thing in your face where it's like, hey, this is a person, not an object for your desire.
Sure.
And so it's great to be reminded of that every once in a while.
There's a podcast, again, I'm pointing at Rooster Teeth as well, that do, it's an all-female podcast. Generally, they have males on there too, but called Always Open, that stars pretty much most of the time the voices of Ruby, kind of their anime thing. Mia Khalifa has been on there multiple times.
Sure.
As well. So
All right.
I don't know what Aggie keeps trying
David?
to send. I bet she's trying to send a link.
I will, following along with some of the stuff I was saying earlier, I will recommend getting an airbrush if you have any interest, or if you paint and you have been looking at it for a while. It's like, nah, I don't paint enough. Just get an airbrush. It makes so much stuff easier, and I would highly suggest starting with a Badger Patriot 105. Which is a very easy to handle, and it is indestructible, because I was horribly disappointed when I stepped up to a more accurate, more detailed airbrush and realized that I actually had to clean it, whereas the 105 is indestructible.
Yeah, I just learned as someone that's like I've had my boss before he got fired from or let go from my current job. He actually gave me his airbrush, and it sat in my basement for almost like a year and a half before. I just ended up learning how to use it and being kind of coached, because I've got trepidation about breaking something like that and not knowing how to do it. And just, it's not hard. You just have to be careful.
Yeah.
And it's like you don't really. Aggie's yelling at me because she's the one
don't worry
that forced
about
me
it.
to paint.
I'm gonna
airbrush.
just close that window right
No,
now.
Just
you don't have
block
to.
Aggie.
So, it's just trying to don't. It's just trying to get painting on it. It's hard. So, and once you learn how to do it, it's really easy and it's a lot of fun.
It's really easy. It's really easy. It's fast, and it looks really good. And you can prime indoors. You can prime indoors in bad weather, and it is fantastic for putting down a solid base coat of whatever color you want. It makes even the traditionally difficult colors like red, yellow, and white easy to do. And painting a model, I think the first thing that makes a model look good is just having a solid base coat, and doing it with brushes to me takes forever, because I'll usually put down like 6 very thin coats for the base coat. But with an airbrush, you do like one or two light airbrush coats. You get an amazing base coat every time.
You can do it in like 5 minutes for a bunch of models.
Yep. Yeah, it's just the only thing that I feel that you need to be careful with an airbrush is you have to make sure you clean it, because that's about the biggest step. That's probably the hardest for people to handle.
But if you get a
cleaning.
Badger 105, you don't have to clean it much. Those things,
Correct.
Those things are amazing, and it's the AK-47 of airbrushes that it just works.
I highly suggest. I think Badger is the one that I got. There's vent hoods that you can portable vent hoods that you can buy. That I highly suggest, because it's very useful. That is Aggie's second account. You can use those hoods. So I do that in my basement, so I don't get particulate everywhere.
Oh yeah.
So it's really good to have that sort of thing, so you're not necessarily breathing the particulate in. Do not use ammonia based non-ammonia based stuff is what you should be using.
Blah, blah, blah. I want to time this dinosaur with Fizzgig.
Oh no, hold on. That would be the one.
Kind of lined up pretty well.
A little bit.
Oh, shit. Oh. That's a good one, because that one I can do. I'll get there.
Yeah, I always airbrush with a ventilator or a respirator.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all right. Made it. Fizzgig roared.
Yeah.
High five.
That was my shoulder.
Good. Shut up about airbrushes. It's boring.
Shut up about Gwent. It's boring.
Bullshit. Gwent's way more interesting than fucking airbrushes.
I think what we're going to give you your Gwent podcast. We'll just take this one and edit it down to the 90 seconds of Gwent talk, and that's your Gwent podcast.
Fine. I'm just saying today's topic was the Elven War Dancer. Is it okay? And that's
It
an
is.
interesting conversation to have.
Yeah, and
I
when you edit-
guarantee.
and when you edit that,
Seriously, if you want to get Jim and Keith,
Jim and Keith and I could talk about the Elven War Dancer for 2 hours, because that's actually, as far as game design goes, that's a really interesting card to discuss.
yeah, if you guys want to get together and do it, I will record it. If you want to get together to do
And also, if
Echo
you-
Chamber,
me
It
looking at
opens
you
the
is
can
not-
of worms of like counterplay. Like counterplay within games is an important topic to discuss.
Me looking at you is not an invitation for you to talk about it.
You should, like, as a playtester, the idea of counterplay,
I
right?
understand.
You get that.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Because at least Ronvid comes out at the end of your turn, so you can't just use it to prevent a dry pass. But, you know.
Did you
But he has
recommend
crew?
anything, Andy?
do I have anything to recommend?
Did
Do
you
I?
recommend something?
Do I? I didn't recommend anything.
Yeah, you recommended that I talk about the Elven War Dancer.
I could recommend, some Titanfall 2. I could recommend the amazing
Fine.
show called Forensic Files.
Sure.
How about buying Forbidden Star for $100?
I could buy Forbidden Stars for $100. That was available at Pegasus garage sale.
Yeah, I saw that. Oh, they had Dark Tower, too.
Somebody had Dark Tower? I missed that.
The old Milton Bradley, like,
How
talking
much
one.
did I have for it?
$100, and they said it needed repairs, but all the parts were there. So, I mean,
kinda
that's a
worth it.
good price
That's
for
actually
Dark
worth it.
Tower. I already own it, so that's the only reason I didn't
didn't.
think about it.
It'll never get played.
Yeah.
What else was there?
War Machine.
Just various stuff.
I got a
My
dice
dog
tray.
bought a game.
Your dog did not buy a game.
She did. I tried to stop her.
You bought a game.
Never. I would not have bought a game because there's no room on my board game shelf right now, and I promised Raylene I wouldn't buy board games.
This sounds like an excuse
No.
that you've made a rationalization for your terrible human
Oh.
behavior.
I have the exact thing that I need to recommend.
So is your dog now prohibited from buying board games?
Well, I tried to
So-
stop her, but I didn't have the heart because she's my little sweetheart.
So is your dog the master or you the master?
Well, you know, like how Daddy's little girl, like, and she's like, "Daddy, get me a lollipop." You're like, "All right, you can have a lollipop." Like sometimes you just cave in.
You didn't answer my question.
She's not the master, no, but sometimes I give her what she wants because that's how parenting works. Is you're strict when you need to be, but you're lenient when it's not as necessary to
So
be strict.
are you being lenient when the parent wants the item?
Oh my
more
God!
than
Let
the
me
child
recommend
does?
something.
You're telling me like you never take Johnny out to ice cream because you really want ice cream? Sure. There we go. Anyway, Andy, what are you going to recommend?
The recommendation I want to make is because next week is WrestleMania, and I think you should watch it's a YouTube documentary. Not really a documentary, but it's kind of a documentary by Max Landis.
Yep.
It is called Wrestling Isn't Wrestling. And it is
is really
basically a nice character portrayal or tell-all of Triple H and how he came about and came to rise to power and the stories that involve him.
Sure.
It is done in a very tongue-in-cheek way, and
it's
done
accurate.
it's done very well.
Yeah.
I would highly recommend watching it. It's Wrestling Isn't Wrestling. Look it up on YouTube. It's like 20 minutes.
I also recommend it. That's a good
Yeah.
one.
And it's Max Landis. So if you don't know who he is, that's, John Landis is a kid.
Yep.
I'll make a second recommendation because I'm not on here very often. Film reroll. Watch
No.
it because Aggie says so.
Okay, good.
Film reroll.
All right. So I'm going to call it now because we're hitting at the 2-hour mark.
Yeah, that was long.
So we've already been talking for 2 hours?
Yeah.
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 Oh, man.
Time flies, buckaroo.
I guess when you're having fun.
And
Ben, too.
eventually I'm going to there's the allow and deny things. So those were conveniently blocked off of my screen.
Oh, so you can go up and allow
Yeah.
those things Aggie
could.
swore.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
How come it made... So up top,
Wait,
when
wait,
she
wait.
said, "I got backups, motherfucker," or "I bitched at you," it blocked it until you allowed it. But right here, she just said fucker. Just the word fucker, and it went straight through.
I don't know. Aggie, can you type motherfucker? Does it block that?
Yeah, we'll see if it blocks motherfucker.
Yeah.
Everybody can listen to us waiting for Aggie to swear in chat.
Yeah.
Motherfucker got blocked.
Yeah,
So you could say
interesting.
fucker. Is that like when they block God damn it? Like they bleep God but not damn it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Thanks for watching, folks.
We're scientists.
My name's Orgo Meesex.